Hey everybody, this is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. It's about 3 o'clock p.m. On July 29th, 2020. I hope everybody's hanging in there. We got the World Awareness Against Electronic Torture Day coming up July 31st. I'm going to play something while I wait for some people to come in the chat. It's a song from, what's his name? Can't remember his name of his channel. Let me try and remember the name. Hold on one second, guys. It's from John Ward, and I'm gonna play this song. My sound kind of sucks, so I'm gonna turn the sound down. And I've got a lot of important information to get to. I do want to go through like 2 clips of a video that Ella just put out with an interview with her and Magnus Olson. And welcome to the chat, guys. Hey, Arachno Nixon. Hey, Elena. How are you guys doing? You guys holding up pretty well? Using some defenses that kind of work good? Eating healthy foods? Taking supplements and everything? I think we can all get kind of excited about this Friday. And then I want to show you all something very, very hopeful. Show you something very, very hopeful that Magnus Olson said, and also a website from the EU coalition against cyber torture. So we've got good things coming up that just logically can't not change things. Can't not change things. I'm going to play this from the John Ward channel though real quick. It's kind of funny. It's a pretty funny video. It's called War Drum. I think it has some cussing in it. I'm going to try and turn the sound down a little bit. I got to get a better sound player because my sound really sucks. It's like way too loud. Let's see if I can find it. I got so much information that I need to put out, and I'm way backed up. Where is it? Where are you? Where are you there? There you are. There you are. I hope everybody's doing okay. This is funny. This is from the John Ward channel. He's kind of a conservative. He's kind of got his war drums going. Target individuals, we're getting our war drums going. Let's see if it's loud enough.
I have come here to chew bubblegum.
It's really low, huh?
All out of bubblegum.
I gotta get a sound player.
Now there's no more sizzle sweet. Gotta keep the blizzard people. No luck, it's Michael Bloomberg, but smaller than the dude is fucking useless. But they're Mr. Devora. And this is the first time I see boobs on Jeffrey Dahmer. I guess it's cool to focus honestly. See it give us some honesty. What the fuck is this thing? What the fuck is happening? Why every time I just fuss with this motherfucking thing just keep on creeping on me? Get it away from me. I didn't make cable to get brain rape by saying, okay, I don't need AOC, OB, better be careful putting all that garbage in your drain. You might OD, might have a myocardial infarction from Martian technology. You might become all myopic and start shopping apologies at college parties when you're all retarded. That's quality.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah. S74 says weird. Check this guy's channel out, though. He's really, really funny. I think a lot of conservatives are they're starting to get really tired of all the riots and everything, so they're kind of getting ready to clash a little bit.
On the equator, I guess it's cool that Kamala is here to do us a favor. What the fuck is this thing? What the fuck is happening? Why every time I just fuss with this motherfucking thing just keep on creeping on me? Get it away from me. I did vacation to get brain raped by race man. Okay, I don't need no R-E-S-P-I-C-T. Better be careful putting all that garbage in your drain. You might
It's pretty good, though. I mean, he's got a good rap going on.
my outfit and start shopping apologies. College parties aren't what they used to be. I'm just sitting on my wardrobe. Would you just rehab me if I ran out of gum? I'm just
Hey,
sitting
Craig,
on
what's
my
up, man?
wardrobe. Now there's no more sizzle, so you gotta keep the blizzard.
You guys surviving? Is everybody surviving? Trying to stay as upbeat as possible. Trying to just trust in God, even though I can't see. Well, there's some logical things that I can see that are really positive. I want to go through now. I want to look at a video that Ella just put out, and everybody needs to go to her newest video. Thumbs up. Try and get it out there. It's an interview with her and Magnus Olson. I want to show y'all two parts of it real quick. Of them talking about like where the activism is going to be taking place on Friday, and then Magnus Olson specifically talking about meeting with Niels Melzer. I kind of needed to hear it because I was like, what does Niels Melzer really know about this? But this is from the horse's mouth. This is from Magnus Olson talking about exactly him and Liliana talking to Niels Melzer. Yeah, Craig says, "Yup, trying." Oh, let me put a comment up on the screen while I'm doing this. Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm getting targeted really bad and just feeling like every time, like my attackers can basically remote neural manipulate me to feel like push EEGs on my brain and stuff like that. And so I've been trying to lately. I've been watching a lot of Joel Osteen. You know, Brian too says, you know, if you listen to dogmatic sermons, that can unentrain remote neural manipulation. Well, Joel Osteen is that for me. So, and it may not be that for you guys, but there's going to be something. Just pray to God about it. Try and raise your frequencies as much as you can, and then there will be something that God will put in your path. I listen to Joel Osteen, and it's just like, boom. It's like he's talking to me. It's like the things that I've been going through in my life. God's given me a path. God's raising my frequencies, and it just like cuts in to that mind control. It cuts into the artificial negativity, artificial anxiety, and all that stuff. But it's pretty bad. I mean, our physical bodies, right? It's the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. We got a lot of really good positive stuff coming up. I disagree, RND in browser. I know there's going to be a lot of people with a lot of different opinions about things, but this is how I see it. I see that Ella's busting her ass. She's stepping up and doing huge stuff. She's interviewing very important people. She's doing things that are just so crucial for us. And me, I want to support that. Like, I want to support her. She supported me in the past. Like, I moderated calls. I don't really talk to her much nowadays. I don't, you know, but I try and show everything good that she's doing. And she's going to be doing activism in Portland, you know, for Friday. Hey, Slack. Slack says, hey, Kyle. Hey, y'all. Hey, Nicholas. What's up, man? Hey, Ghetto Peacock. Slack TI says, Ella's doing more than me. Yeah, she's doing more than a lot of us, and she's interviewing really important people. I know there's just a lot of opinions about like this person, blah, blah, blah. You know, so a lot of opinions, but I just try and look at what people are doing. Is it really positive? What she's doing is really positive. You know, so I want to support that. I think we all maybe just have a lot of like, we're like, this is the way we should be doing it, right? And whenever if you step up as a targeted individual, you really got to put away, you got to stop wanting to make everybody, you're not going to be able to make everybody happy, right? There's going to be people that are like, you just don't get it, right? You just don't get it. What you're doing isn't important. You're not looking at it from the right angle, especially with targeting, which is, there's no textbook for it, right? We're blazing a trail. We're looking for things. Oh, I hate this tablet. This tablet sucks. My attackers, what they'll do is like when I have like input, like I have this little thing to plug into, my attackers will hit it with directed energy and it'll keep going. They'll do it to this thing on my computer. like the phone plug-in, they'll keep hitting it with directed energy, and my computer will keep unrecognizing the USB port, and it just keeps making that sound. Oh, makes me so mad. It just pisses me off. Nicholas says, "You're amazing, Kyle. Ella is amazing. I don't know how they do it. I can barely keep myself." Or that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'll tell you guys the truth. I've said this. I think maybe Ella knows this. At a certain point in time, because my targeting was so bad, I haven't said anything about it, but I've been suspicious of Ella and Matt. Right? I'm like, how do they do so much? I'm being murdered. I can barely do a YouTube video. But man, all of us have different types of targeting. We all have different levels of stuff that we're dealing with. And you've really got to just look at what the person's doing. But like, I felt that, like, I'm like, how's Ella, doing a radio show? How's she doing? How's Frank doing a radio show? They can't be real targets, right? I've never accused anybody of anything, but those little thoughts that you have as a targeted individual. But just be careful, be careful about accusing people of things. Some people have accused me. They've been like, you have a YouTube channel, you can't be a target. But trust me, guys, sometimes I will sit in front of my computer before I make a video. Like yesterday, I didn't even make one because my attackers were just making me feel like I felt drained of adrenaline. And I was like, I'm not even going to be able to do a video. Like, so it's gotten to that bad point. But what I do is I just push through. And one thing for me, and I think it can work for a lot of you guys, I've got to get in my faith. I've got to say, I don't understand this. This is so bad. This is so unfair. It's too much weight on me. I'm expected to step up and talk about the most complicated issue on the planet while experiencing the worst torture any human being can experience. And I've got to say, I don't understand, but God's going to give me the strength. God's going to find us a way. It seems like the darkest time in history, right? The darkest time in history, riots and the CV that's locking everybody down, destroying the economy, destroying people's lives. But I've just got to say, I don't understand. It doesn't seem like all things can get better, right? But I've got to just trust in God. We've got to try and make better what we can make better. And then just really, 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 really have faith in God and let him connect with you, in whatever way that is good for you, Slack says, Mr. Browser, Kyle's perfect just the way he is. Oh man, you got to look at what Ella's doing. It's huge solutions. Like, look at this. Let's check this out. And I know, I do that too. Like, I'm just like, this person's not, and I'm not saying that about Ella. I'm just saying we all have that where we're like, I would do it this way, or how are they doing that? I don't know if they're a target or something like that. And I don't think that anymore about Ella and Matt, but I did for a little period of time. I was like, how are they getting so much done? But then people did it to me, or people had done it to me, but they did it more to me. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, people even think that I'm a perp. It's got to go through those things. It's a human thing, but be careful how you deal with it, and be careful how you look at people. Okay, yeah, but I want to say that's a huge thing. Be sure, really pray about those things. Don't if you don't have some proof, like, keep watching what the person's doing. Interact with the person, talk to them. Don't just say like, oh, I know that they're freaking fake, and then just start spreading rumors. And you might be hurting somebody who's like a real targeted individual. You might be really, really hurting somebody who has so much pain and pressure from the targeting and is still trying to step up and do a lot of stuff for their own families and for other people. Because I've had it done to me. Like, I've had it done to me where people are like, oh man, he's freaking fake. And they come into my chats and they'll, attack me and stuff like that. On the moderator calls, when I used to moderate calls, it makes it harder. It makes it harder. But this is my main point on that. Like, if you are experiencing problems with people and stuff like that, you've got to look to God for your approval. It's good if people are like, hey, what you're doing is good and stuff like that. Look to God for your approval. I'm on a Joel Osteen high. I'll admit it. I've been just watching Joel Osteen because I'm in a very dark place. and it really helps me. Helps me to just like, it really helps with the mind control. It's like I get on this, what's really positive and I connect to, and that's what Brian too is saying with the dogmatic Christian content. He connects with that. Like he was raised with that. It maybe for a bunch of targeted individuals that will just cut into that mind control. It's what connects you to God, right? And God probably has something for you that just connects you to God. Get into that stuff. Get into that stuff. It will cut into the mind control, the artificial, artificial depression, artificial anxiety. I have a lot of artificial general anxiety, artificial general depression, but then they're doing specific things, injecting thoughts. And it's just like when I start getting into those positive thoughts and I'm like, man, I don't understand the details of this, but God is going to find a way for me. I'm going to invite God into my problems, right? Y'all can see, look on the page. I've been looking up a bunch of it. Your words become reality. God has the final say. Greater is coming. Okay, but anyway, okay, so this is Magnus Olson, cyber torture on the way to United Nations General Assembly. So I wanted to play the part where they're announcing like where all of the activism is going to be taking place. I think, and then I've got an idea, guys. The Twitter campaign, I want to present an idea and I want to get feedback from you guys. I'm thinking up to the, I'll get into that after this, but let's go through this. Let's go through this where he's talking about where the activism is going to take place.
That's the meaning and the point of it also. So, yes, we have now
Kind of have a hard time understanding him.
Against electronic torture. And I would like to now read for you the latest update upon where we're gonna manifest around the globe, actually, because this have grown exponentially. I will begin with UN headquarters, New York. Palais des Nations, Geneva, ICC, Den Haag, Switzerland.
Okay, so there's going to be activism in front of the UN in New York, and then there's going to be activism in Geneva, and then the Den Haag in Switzerland. I'm sure that's not it, but in Switzerland. And I think they're trying to find places, like monuments, things like that, like big places of, I can't think of what it's called, but national monuments and stuff like that. The UN in New York is like a huge symbolic place, which don't trust the UN at all. They're doing a lot of bad stuff, but y'all know my position on this. You do have a lot of people in the UN who probably are trying to do really good things. Then you got this big agenda that some people that work in the UN are kind of going along with. And if we can just get the UN talking about it, we get the left hand fighting the right hand. So.
And marks as well, government buildings, legislation, offices, train stations, and so on. Distribute
to train stations.
These flyers are available.
So Arachno Nixon says, okay. Arachno Nixon says, if you're right, it accomplishes nothing. If you're wrong, you've just added to their pain and alienation. Well, that's not true, man. If you're right and you're doing what's right and you're putting out good information, it can always empower people. It can always help people's lives. I know we feel like that sometimes. This gets so bad that we do. I mean, I sometimes feel hopeless, but no, I mean, you can affect people's lives, empower them. You don't know, you might inspire somebody. If you're doing big stuff, you step up, you might inspire somebody else to go do the same thing, then they change people's lives. We got to fight that way of thinking, Arachno Nixon. You can make a difference. New Type says the attacks on Ella Free from Romola D were very effective at creating division and destabilizing the growth and union of target individuals. Yeah, I think the fight between Romola D and Dr. Horton, and Ella Free and Romola, it's very strategic, very strategic. And I'm not judging anyone, but I have, I've been very suspicious of target individuals. The remote neural manipulation in psyops, like these specifically timed things that other TIs, like if you're talking with them, I hate my attackers. They're just hitting this thing, and it just keeps creating this beeping sound. Yeah, but it gets really bad. Yeah, Arachnogic said, Vulcan Wolverine, I was talking about calling out people. Oh, okay. You were saying if you're right, it accomplishes nothing. If you're wrong, you just add it to their pain and alienation. Yeah, that's why I never say anything about people like I'm suspicious of or anything like that, because it's like most people are going to, even if you're right, people are going to be like, no, you're wrong and you're being paranoid. So it just doesn't do any good. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And the other thing is you could be wrong, That's what I'm saying with Romola D and Dr. Horton. I think that they are both targeted individuals. And I think that this program, their attackers are on them. They see that together, like Romola D has these skill sets, Dr. Horton has these skill sets, and they're perfect together. They're a great team, right? So they're doing these psyops and specific time things between them and remote neural manipulation. And then, both of them are like, oh, this person's an agent, right? That's on purpose. That's on purpose. I mean, but there really are. I mean, there are, cyber stalkers, gang stalkers, fake TIs, and things like that. It's just not at a high percentage, but just because it exists, then real TIs get into fights. They break apart. You had the thing with targeted justice, and I can't remember. Jack Cristiano and Richard Lighthouse got into a fight. So Jack Cristiano has so much experience, like law experience, he has to leave targeted justice and form a new group. And it seems like we're always dealing with that. We're always dealing with getting into fights with people, suspecting them of stuff, and then it tearing apart something that was so big, something that could have just changed everything. That what I'm hoping is as we move forward, right, with the UN announcing it and making resolutions and things like that, it's not going to be able to be hidden anymore. So a lot of these people who would maybe be cyber stalkers and say, well, don't even know that people are being tortured, or they say, well, I trust in authority figures. They're picking pieces of poo, right, to get targeted. So I don't care if we do mean stuff to them. They're going to understand. More people are going to understand that it's just happening to innocent people, happening to really innocent people through all walks of life, and we're gonna that stuff is going to be be reduced. It's going to be reduced, and we'll have an easier time. We got to think things are going to get better. And if you just keep doing good things for people, they really will get better. Okay, Craig, thanks for coming, man. Hey, Joseph, let's listen to some more of this, guys. Yeah, everybody stay strong. We're coming upon some good stuff. And I think what I'm going to do probably Friday is I'm just going to do, I'm really tired from my targeting, but I think I'm going to try and find a time where I can do like a marathon just for a couple of hours where people who are at the protests or doing activism, they can come on. You guys can come on. We'll go through information, and let me get to the Twitter campaign, but I want to show this first. I'm going to show this first.
The European Coalition's Facebook page. We have merely all languages at this point. And
kind of like his beard.
We have outside the in Oregon, the UL is going to do something, I hope.
Yes, we will. It's very dangerous right now in Portland, but that's not going to stop us. We're going to try to go somewhere in the outskirts, trying to educate people And ultimately, of course, we are all hoping for legislation. And of course, I want to go back into the details.
We need
of
laws.
what this really is that we're discussing. So I will turn it back over to you, and then we can discuss legislation in a bit.
Okay, so let me speak about cyber torture.
Okay, so I wanted to show that part about where it's going to be. I'm sure there's going to be some activism in other places.
Because every second week around, we have information about the day of torture and so on. But what I would like to say more is that when I went to Geneva to meet the special rapporteur, Professor Nils Meltzer, it was a long procedure, and Liliana De Luca, that worked actually 25 years for the United Nations in New York as a high officer. So she helped us and arranged, and I was in the Human Rights Council with one lawyer in the coalition, which is Henning Witte from Germany, living in Sweden. And we were the first people to talk with Nils Meltzer directly after he announced cyber torture, what it was, what it is, and what they're gonna do. They're gonna start an investigation, he told me. And then I was there mostly to inform and see correctly that he knows what this is all about. And I went back from Geneva with a big smile, because he knows for sure.
He knows for sure.
So don't worry about that side.
So I was a little bit, I was like, well, is he maybe just talking about, gang stalking over the internet? No. Magnus Olsson is confirming that Nils Meltzer knows for sure about microwave torture, about mind control, mind manipulation, and things like that. So he knows. This guy who's going to be presenting all this stuff to the UN, he knows. Like, he knows about the big stuff.
He knows.
Big stuff.
And he is going to propose new laws to all the members of the United Nations. Usually these are adopted pretty fast. So what we will have in the near future, if this runs right in October, is new law proposals against cyber torture as it is by the book. And that means that these people will get tracked and hunted down and jailed. And that's what we want.
I sure hope so, but
yes.
Y'all know my thing. The priority is to get the torture stopped. And how I'm kind of thinking about it right now is I'm saying, if they come up with resolutions in certain laws, then these contractors will back off. They'll back off, or maybe even stop the torture. Now, catching them because it's like the intelligence agencies, the Pentagon in America, very rich contractors. I mean, they have the most control in our world, the military-industrial complex. Catching them and hanging them, real justice. I hope so. We're gonna go for that. But I'm like, to get this torture stopped, it's like almost a sure thing. It's almost a sure thing that this is going to back everything off. It's going to cause a lot of problems for our attackers, our torturers, to just keep doing it at such an intensity. And think about this: the UN announced it, and this was one of my worries. It's like, well, are they just going to kill us off? Because they don't want this coming out. But if they kill one of us off that's been talking about it for so long about being targeted, it's going to bring attention to that situation. So it can even stop some of the fatalities, some of the target individuals dying from this stuff. So I just, super positive, super like logically, and I haven't been seeing a lot of stuff in the world that's like, oh wow, well that's really logically positive, but this is. Usually I'm like, man, this just looks really bad, and I'm gonna have to trust in God and you know, I can help people, and I see other people helping people. There's some positive stuff, right? But this is something huge that is logically positive. So great.
The World Day of
This
against
could happen,
electronic
guys.
torture
This could happen.
or electronic slavery, I would say, because that's what this will lead to in the big picture. So yes, this is a very, very important day.
And I believe in humanity. I believe we can make a change. And I just want to say thank you to everybody listening. And we hope you participate. And thank you so much for your time. And thank you, Magnus.
And thank you, Ella. Thank you very much. And everyone that is in some kind.
Okay, guys, now I want to run something by y'all and see what y'all think. So what I wanted to do, what I wanted to present to y'all, let me put another comment up on the screen. Alan says, Ella tries and successfully organized meetings for TIs to meet in person, not just online where you don't know what's real. Yeah, she's done so much for targeted individuals everywhere. She's worked really hard. She's gotten so much accomplished. The billboards were such a huge thing, right? She found a targeted individual with a lot of money to help out on that. Yeah, she's just done such great stuff, and she has a personality where it's like, dude, she's attacked viciously. Any targeted individual that puts themselves out there, Dr. Horton, Romola, Ella, Brian, me, Dr. Matt, you're gonna get people not trusting what you are. Because it's a targeted individual, right? I do it too. What I'm saying is I'm like, man, I can't get anything done. I can't do any big stuff. I can barely run a small YouTube channel. How are people, you know, starting big organizations? You just question, how are people doing anything? Because like, I can barely move or function and talk, right? So it's just going to happen. But no, she's gotten a lot of stuff done. Now, what I want to present is starting today. Yeah, David says the UN is controlled and it won't go anywhere, in my opinion. I've thought about that too, but take into account and think about left hand, right hand. How not every person is controlled in every organization, and it seems like Niels Melzer talking about this. He's not controlled, or at least he's not controlled on this. So there's going to be this stuff going on. But what I wanted to present to you guys, and I wanted to see what y'all think. Saying like starting today. Today's Wednesday. Then we've got the World Against Electronic Torture Day on Friday. I don't think that's what it's called. I think it's called World Awareness Against Electronic Torture Day. But we do a Twitter campaign every day. Like starting today, we flood the UN Twitter page. Just flood it. Just every targeted individual, right? From today, we got today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then Monday. Monday would be the big day when it'd be like, if you're target individual, every target individual put a tweet on the UN Twitter page. Then Tuesday, we would do Donald Trump's Twitter page. We would just, every target individual, just flood it, right? Then Wednesday, it would be Elon Musk. We flood his Twitter page. Now, I haven't thought like the next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I was thinking we could just start over with the UN on Thursday. But I wanted some suggestions from y'all because this is the big idea, right? This is the big idea. We're putting information out on YouTube. We're putting information out on Twitter. We're putting information out on calls and everything like that. Sometimes it gets very echo chambery. It's just targeted individuals that see that information, right? So, and I think people have tried to do this, but I want to put an emphasis on it now of where people are communicating the most. Maybe not about targeting. Like say, this is an example, right? Like on YouTube, you have trending videos. Like I want to start a thing where every day, targeted individuals look at the trending video on YouTube, the #1 trending, and we all just flood it with comments. every targeted individual. But we start out trying with this Twitter campaign, starting today, at least till Monday, but Monday would be the culmination where we're trying to spread it around. Hey, we're all putting tweets on the UN's Twitter page, and then Tuesday switch over to Donald Trump's page, then Wednesday Elon Musk's page, and every targeted individual just flood it with tweets, right? Because Twitter is like the big communication hub for everything. But to like kind of in the future, not just put the information out. This is driving me nuts. They hit this thing and it makes this little sound. I hate it. But in the future, insinuating ourselves into where the most communication is going on about anything in the world, especially up to the time of the UN, the UN report on targeting, the UN report on cyber torture. We insinuate ourselves, and this is like, I know that like this Friday they're going to be doing protests like pretty much everywhere in Geneva, the UN in New York, Oregon and everything like that. But my idea, and like I can't really, I don't think there's going to be any protests where I am, so I'm going to try and do something on YouTube. And this is why I wanted to do the Twitter thing, communicate where we can communicate. But I was thinking, man, it's like we need to be going to, I'm just going to unplug this thing, but the battery's almost out. All right, God, I'm going to have to get a new charger. Keeps going, let's see if I can remember what I was talking about. But basically, okay, what I was saying is if I did a protest, you do it in front of a news studio, do it in front of a, your local news studio or your local news affiliate. So it's like they have to look at you, right? I think what's going to happen, and this should get better, but I think like you go do a protest in Washington, or we do a protest anywhere, and the media can just ignore that. But if we do a protest like where they are in front of them, then they have to see us, right? And that's kind of the idea about insinuating ourselves into places where people are communicating the most. So I'd like to try it, guys, if y'all would do this with me from today to Monday, but Monday being the culmination, we flood the UN Twitter page. Please do this with me. I'm going to talk more about it on Friday. I think what I'm going to do is, do a live stream Friday during the day where people can come here who can't get to a protest or anything, or are just too sick to get out there, and then we'll try and do stuff from here. And then while we're on here, I'll be doing tweets on the UN Twitter page, Donald Trump's Twitter page, Elon Musk's Twitter page, and where I want ideas from you is who's the biggest person, like who is the most popular. And I guess we can just look on Twitter, who's trending, right? Who's #1 trending? Like we can just look at it every day. We could do a thing where we look at it every day. What's #1 trending on YouTube? What's #1 trending on Twitter? Every targeted individual does a comment on that YouTube video. Every targeted individual out there. And it doesn't matter what they're talking about on the video. We're insinuating ourselves. This is people being tortured, being mind controlled, being raped. People need to know about this for their own good, right? And we can maybe get a lot of people who are not targeted individuals to understand the topic, or to not understand the topic, but to at least look into it, right? I'm not going to read that. And Nicholas says, if I end up near an FFTI rally by William, I will film it in 360. Yeah, film it, and I think I'm just going to open my live stream up on Friday. We'll just hang out all day, and just anybody who wants to send me footage from the protest, or who just wants to come on, we'll just do that. And then people in the chat who want to join, we can just hang out. I mean, I don't have a lot of energy from being targeted, but yeah, I might just like leave it up or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to do something. But I think it's a good idea just from now till Monday. Monday being the culmination when every targeted individual needs to post on Twitter to the UN Twitter page. Who else is big? I guess what we can do is, Monday, everybody tweet every day, every target individual every day on the UN Twitter page, the Twitter feed, right? And then Monday would culminate in that. Then Tuesday, Donald Trump, everybody, every targeted individual, and tweet just, you know, what you can do, even 2 tweets or do it in 1 tweet. You know, I'm an American citizen, or I'm an Australian citizen, and I'm being targeted by neuro weapons and directed energy weapons. It's destroyed my life. You know, it's mind rape. I'm isolated. I can barely do anything. I'm looking forward to the UN General Session and the report that's going to be read in October that basically announces cyber torture to the world and begins to and is asking for resolutions to be made, right? And we looked at that UN thing on the Syrian torture. It's going to be something like that. They're going to make all these I forgot what it's called, but it's going to be basically just, it's writing up what's happening where it's in concrete in the UN. So when we write tweets, we can just write our testimony, or you can write, hey, I can't wait till the UN announces cyber torture, which is torturing so many people, right? But so I want to declare that now, from today to culminating in Monday, where I need every targeted individual in the world. We are going to flood the UN's Twitter page with what we're going through, or saying, you know, like, I'm glad that the UN is finally doing something about this. Get it in people's faces for the UN Twitter page. Tuesday, we all do Donald Trump. So this is next Monday, Tuesday, right? Donald Trump on Tuesday, then on Elon Musk Twitter page on Wednesday. Then I want some ideas from y'all about like other people, but what we could do maybe on, we can either start over again. So we can either on Thursday do the UN Twitter page again, then Friday do Donald Trump's page again, then Saturday do Elon Musk's page again. Please, it's just a tweet, right? Let's try this. And then what we can do, I mean, after that, we can just look at whatever's trending on Twitter. We could do it like this, you know, but I want some ideas from you guys. We just look every day. What's trending on YouTube? What's trending on YouTube? What's trending on Twitter? We insert ourselves every day. Every targeted individual in the world, whatever's trending on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, we insinuate ourselves. Every target in the individual in the world, write a comment, post a video, something like that. You know, get this in people's faces. That's the best thing that I've experienced about getting results from people understand, is just getting in people's faces, putting information in people's faces, even if they don't want it, right? Hey, politically persecuted, it says, hi, Kyle, I would suggest that a standard statement are used as the perps will put incoherent fake TI statements aimed at making us look crazy. I have seen this happen many times before. Yeah, you're right. I see that's a good idea, but I kind of like, I want targeted individuals to get creative, you know, with their testimony, how they feel about the UN thing. We might just have some wackadoo comments in there. Because doing the same thing, just flooding it with the same thing, people wouldn't see. I'm thinking about like somebody coming in that's not a targeted individual, and they see all these different testimonies, and they see like what everybody's feeling about what the UN has coming up for us, and saying, oh my God, if they just saw the same thing, it'd be like, is that bots or something like that. So I like your idea, but how I'm thinking about it, it needs to be kind of organic, creative from every TI. We might just have to, but what you're saying is true. It'll probably happen. We'll probably have some targeted individuals that are, you know, some fake TIs coming in there and saying crazy stuff. Might have some real targeted individuals coming in there and saying some crazy stuff, because this is it's hurting you, and we're all perceiving it in certain ways. So it kind of just happens. Politically persecuted says, saying mind rape is not the best for people who do not understand. Really? God, it feels like mind rape. What's the best term, you think? I was thinking what we should call ourselves is not targeted individuals. Cut that individual word off. We're targets. We're targeted. You know, targeted by directed energy weapons, targeted by neuro weapons. You know, I think I'll probably start referring to it as that. And then, God, my attackers like twist my mind against my will, put EEGs on my brain that aren't even mine, that are from them or from other people. And it's just so bad. I want it, like, you know, I get what you're saying, like, you know, just say neuro weapons attacks, remote neural manipulation that conditions the mind. But I always want to convey how bad it is. Because, like, my mom understands that this is going on. Like, I've been talking to her and, like, sending her the stuff from the UN, and she's like, she pretty much knows that it's happened now. But it's like she doesn't understand how it's mind. I mean, it's changing my brain. It's like rewiring my brain. So I want people to understand how bad it is. Because if you're just like, oh, it's mind control, people think that it's maybe something that they're doing to your brain that they could just stop doing and you'd be healthy again. And that's true to a certain extent, but it's damaging. It's so damaging. What kind of word do you think we should use, politically persecuted? Arachno Nixon says gang stalking is another controlled term too. It makes people think it's like the Bloods or the Crips, not the military industrial complex. Say organized stalking, organized proxy stalking. Just say organized stalking. You know, I think organized stalking, organized stalking, organized harassment. But I think like the targeting, neuro weapons torture, directed energy torture. We are targets of neuro weapons. We are targets. I like mind rape. I see why people. It's a little bit. It's going to scare people. I think even some targeted individuals who maybe aren't going through something as intense as me. They're like, really, you're saying rape? You know, it's distasteful, right? But like, I need something that shoots it into the stratosphere. I need something that lets people know how bad this is. Because you say certain things like, oh, well, you know, being mind conditioned or something like that, and it like people are like, oh, well, what's the big deal? Somebody's just kind of playing around with your mind and it can just go away. I mean, this is like electromagnetic fields, electromagnetic pulses that twist your mind, and psychic driving. It's like the things that I think I talk about these things a lot too, but one of the big things with me is like, I don't know if a lot is the remote neural manipulation, but they do V2K psychic driving, NLP psychic driving, subliminal V2K psychic driving, all 24 hours of the day, right? But then when I'm sleeping, they're doing specific remote neural manipulation with hypnosis, that through the first couple of years, the hypnosis, the NLP, the subliminal V2K, it didn't really affect me that much. But after a couple of years where my body and my mind are so tired, I'll wake up and I will have thoughts that like are so negative. I'll be waking up recently now, wake up and go, I'm never going to make a video on YouTube again. Like, I just can't do it. I'm too sick. 2 hours later, it's kind of dissipated. So during the night, they are like raping my mind. I mean, they are like using hypnosis, NLP, specific remote neural manipulation to literally like pull the arms back of my mind. But you know, let's think of some other words. It's just, man, I want to convey how awful this is, because it's so violent. It's not something that's just annoying. It's something that, you know, has changed all of our lives. But you could say like mind control. Mind control kind of has a connotation with it. Neuro weapons torture, remote neural manipulation torture, you know, stuff like that. I go to the rape. I go to mind rape. That's where my emotions go. My emotions go to that word, because I'm like, I want, you know, not you guys know, you target individuals that experience, you know how bad this is. But somebody who has not experienced this, like my mom knowing about it, like she knows that like I'm being hit with directed energy, but it's like, what does she think in her head? Does she think like, is this just some little annoying thing that's not that big of a deal? It's like murder, rape. It's murder and rape, you know? Yeah, Alan says, very cool ideas, Kyle. Your chats are very helpful to us to bounce ideas off. Yeah, and y'all give me some ideas for like who, do we want to just look every day for the trending on Twitter, trending on YouTube? I want to insert us into trending, into where the most communication is going on, right? We need to be doing, and obviously the rallies, the activism, you know, getting out there is useful, but I'm like, man, I don't, you know, I'm so targeted and tortured, and I don't know if I could like set something up like that where I live. So I want to do what I can do in the places where people communicate the most about anything, because we're snowballing. We're snowballing to where the UN's coming up talking about this. You know, world awareness. What's it called? I keep not saying it right. Look it up real quick. Wait. No, she didn't put it there. So it's World Day Against Electronic Torture. World Day Against Electronic Torture. Event created by targeted individual Argentina group. Let me show this. But y'all go to Ella's page and look at that video. Why is that freezing up there? Hey, Tansy. Tansy says, hi, everyone. Politically Persecuted says, this is mind rape, but people need to understand how the technology they are now rolling out has been tested on us as torture. Right. That's what when I say mind rape, I'm thinking it's like, it's raping my mind into other EEGs and changing the wiring, basically. You know, remote neural manipulating different emotions onto there. So it's like emotional, mental rape. But yeah, remote neural manipulation, neuro weapons torture. You know, we could say like, I'm going to say remote neural hacking, like hacking the mind. But see, with me, it's like, it's not just like they did it the first time and it worked, right? They had to rape my mind. Like they had to really rape my body and hurt my mind with electromagnetic pulses and traumatize me and push it and get me in the state where the mind control actually does work, right? So it's some type of violent, aggressive manipulation of the mind. Because for me, it's not just like, it's not state of the art, like where it's just like, oh, they're changing my mind and like I don't even notice, I can't even feel it, but my thoughts are my own. It's very blatant, like really traumatizing me, hurting me, making me more tired, introducing trauma into my life, traumatizing my brain, doing like very, very sophisticated stuff on top of that, but having to damage my mind before they can push different thoughts onto it. So for me, it's just like this pulling of the arms back of the mind and hurting it really bad so that they can actually do those things, right? I just say, you know, manipulation, torture, manipulation. Yeah, that's good. Politically Persecuted says remote trauma-based torture. Just when something's forced, when something's really forced and very violent, I just think of the word rape, you know? And I don't think it's an abuse of this. And I'm not, you know, that's a good, remote trauma-based torture is good. But I'm just saying what I'm thinking when I say that. I don't think of it as an abuse of that word, right? Because, I mean, the most intimate space is the couple of ounces between your ears, right? And then you got somebody twisting that, putting in different stuff, and that is RAPE. But I guess it's a little, it's probably kind of puts people off to say that. Hey, Serendipity. Serendipity Blooming says, hi, Kyle. Hi, everyone. I finally made it to live. I was going to go outside, but now I feel like staying in to be with you all. Haha. Cool. Thanks for coming. Alan says, it all works. Movies like Minority Report, Pandemic reminds if TI program info and disinfo and with doctors. Yeah, it creates this medical tyranny, a medical technocracy, where the experts will tell us everything, right? People will be under control of organizations that are like have medical experts and everything like that, a technocracy, a medical technocracy, kind of a medical technocracy mixed with communism. There's this thing I might show y'all. It's the fourth turning, So this guy has he has not a theory, but these businessmen, these entrepreneurs in like 1994, they had this theory where every 100 years, in every 100-year time period, the world goes through spring, summer, autumn, winter, right? Spring, summer, autumn, winter. So the last one, the winter, was World War II, and now we're going through the 100-year period of spring, summer. Is that right? Spring, summer? No. Wait. It's spring, summer, autumn, winter, and right now we're in winter, right? We're in winter. It's going to turn into spring, which will turn into a new normal, new world order, right? And now I don't think that these things happen naturally. I think that there are these spans of 100 years where the new world order will change things, will do bad things on purpose to then create a new normal, a new spring, right? I'll show you guys this video. You want to do that now? We'll look at that. I kind of wanted to show you all this page, and maybe we'll jump back. We'll jump back to that. I think that's a remote trauma-based torture is very good. Remote neural trauma-based torture. I like remote neural trauma-based torture. That sounds really good to me. Remote neural trauma-based torture. Trauma-based torture, it's a little bit too politically correct. It's like when I talk about something that's really bad, that like I want to convey how bad, I try to step out of the politically correct, right? In rape, you're stepping right out of the politically correct. It's going to get people's attention, right? Kind of like people don't like when Dr. Horton cusses a lot, but she's being murdered, and it's like step out of that political correctness, you get people's attention. They're like, why is she cussing? Why is this woman cussing? Or why is this guy saying rape? This must be really bad, right? I want to hit people's emotion. And I know a lot of people don't agree with that. They're like, stay logical. The people on the left, they use emotion and not logic, but I want to use both. The logic of this situation is that it's very, very bad, and it should be very emotional for everybody. Yeah, Joseph. Yeah, sure. Post a link if you guys have a channel. But I have a channel on YouTube. Please post your own videos in my chat. Do anything to promote your own videos, other targeted individuals' videos that you like, links that you like. Yeah. Tandy says it. Problem reaction solution. Problem reaction solution, man. Let's show that. I don't know if I want to go through this whole thing because I want it to go to this website. Let me show you guys this important website real quick. And then maybe we'll jump over to that other topic. So everybody needs to check this out. This is where I got the last video that I put up. It's cyber-torture.com. Everybody come check this website out. Now this is the EU Coalition Against Cyber Torture. It looks like Jessica Biel. It looks like Jessica Biel. And this is the video. I think y'all can see it when I change over. It's called The Fourth Turning. Let me pause that. We'll check that out because I did kind of plan on showing y'all that. it's a weird time right now. So we're dealing with this is what I think. This is what I feel and see logically that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the world getting a lot worse, but in the world getting a lot worse and coming towards a collapse. We're coming towards a collapse right now. So that when people tell you to get ready, get right with God, get your food, try and move out of the cities. Like, we're coming to a collapse. Things are going to get very bad. Now, here's the ironic thing that I say a lot, right? Because I see this. I see the big picture. God kind of helps me out with that. I have a bad time with details, which I'm trying to get better at. But in this collapse, for us, for targeted individuals who are going through intense torture, things are going to change drastically. Because with this collapse, before the collapse, comes disruption. Disruption is what we're going through now in our society. Now, for the collapse to happen, a lot of people in society have to lose trust in the system, and lose trust in their leaders, and lose trust in organizations that are in leadership. It has to happen for the collapse to happen. Now think about it. What could be the biggest thing that people could learn to really distrust their leaders? And then think about what the UN is bringing out. That cyber torture is happening. People's military industrial complexes in every country are torturing and murdering people, and mind torturing them, mind raping them. But think about how much people will lose faith in the system leading into the collapse, right? Leading into the collapse, then the rebuilding where this technology will be used on everybody. But I think, this is what I see logically, that the revealing of this kind of torture and these kind of programs is actually necessary for the top to get there into disruption, to complete mistrust of the system, folding into a collapse. So I think that our freedom, or this changing for us, is actually part of the plan. However sick and ironic that is, but y'all know me, I want to use it to get, my priority is just following what God wants me to do and helping people, but really probably getting us out of this torture. And then we can talk about everything else and whatever. Because the torture is so bad, it makes it hard for me to do anything else or focus on anything else. So I'm just like, okay, well, what's the priority here? To stop the torture, to make the torture better, So and I think that life is very ironic. And I don't know about you guys, but in my life, it seems like every good thing comes with a bad thing, and every bad thing comes with a good thing. So kind of hard to process, because you want things to just be good. You want things to be fixed. But it seems like a lot of bad is going to come with things that can change our situation. Kind of sucks. Okay, so cyber torture. We are a nonprofit EU coalition against cyber torture and task force established to create awareness and more of cybernetic technology and electronic abuse, such as the illegal data collection and manipulation of humans via brain-machine interfaces, coined cyber torture by the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture. Cyber torture. UN starts investigation to ban cyber torture. UN reaches out to targeted individuals worldwide. Advanced cyber technology is worldwide used to target individuals remotely through intimidation, harassment, and public shaming. Electromagnetic radiation, radar, and surveillance technologies are used to transfer sounds and thoughts into people's brains. The UN is now underway to create an international legal framework for covering cyber technologies used to torture individuals, which was previously hard to prove because of invisibility, secrecy, and deception. Stay tuned for new reports. So Task Force EU Coalition, cyber-torture.com. How do we protect people? How do we protect people that by utilitarian grounds without informed consent are used for brain studies with brain-computer interfaces in cyber psychological systems, illegal stealing of brain data, and intellectual property. Brain data and intellectual property. You think of something creative like an invention, they can take that, and then they can just take brain data. They can just take data from when they're torturing you. They get an EEG out of it, or how your inner voice works, or how your visual cortex works, and they can just pump it into an AI system. Currently, there are no specific laws protecting humans, neither any medical support for them during cyber torture. That's one of the most hellish things. Like, I'll sit here some days and I'm like, I got to go to a doctor. Like, I need medical attention. It's been for years, and I'm like, nope, can't go to a doctor. I'm being murdered. If I go to a doctor, they're going to throw me into a mental institution. And then how I am is I'm like, okay, well, I need to go to a doctor. I've got to get some type of medical help. So I have got to think and think of a way that when I go to the doctor, I can talk about things and protect myself from being thrown into a mental institution, and try and get a little bit of help when they can't even really, they can't really help you a lot, but maybe you can get some out-of-band, a chemical shielding thing, or a pain medication if you guys use that. I use Kratom. But this is the case with me. Like, my psychiatrist left, so I'm going to have to go and talk to a new psychiatrist right when this UN stuff is coming up. So I'm going to have to like feel out this new psychiatrist, talk to them about like on a lower level, not say anything about the V2K, and they're going to have notes from before, but it's a scary prospect, talking to somebody new. And it's like before, like years before, I was like, okay, well, I can kind of think my way out of it, right? But as the torture goes on and you can't think as well, and you're being mind control, then it becomes harder and harder to do these complicated maneuvers with people who they're healthy, they're doctors, they'll throw you in a mental institution for being murdered, right? It's just like the whole system is completely defunct. The system is defunct, right? Currently, there are no specific laws protecting humans, neither any medical support for them during cyber torture. The situation is created by the fact that scientists do not leave any information about the illegal mind-reading technologies. They just keep on progressing in their cognitive neuroscience crimes. Neuroweapon effects, reading and broadcasting of thoughts, forced memory blanking. I have this one all the time. I have all these all the time. Microwave hearing, controlled dreams, forced waking visions, forced visions, some synced with body motion, artificial tinnitus, wildly racing heart without cause, forced muscle quaking, intense general pain, or hot needles pushed deep into the flesh sensations. Vagus nerve stimulation is one that I would add to this, because they can actually pulse your brain and can create like specific nerve pain and stimulation of huge nerves in your body that actually affect your brain. Like your vagus nerve controls like your anxiety levels, your physical anxiety levels, and a lot of things with your parasympathetic nervous system. One of the nervous systems. It controls a lot of that. So it's like my attackers can give me panic attacks by stimulating my vagus nerve. So they're giving me a stimulated vagus nerve panic attack, and then they're remote neural manipulating my brain with artificial anxiety too. It's really horrible. Remote neural trauma-based mind control. Remote neural trauma-based torture. I like that. Forced muscle quaking, sensation of tapping, intense general pain or hot needles pushed deep into the flesh sensations, sensation of electrical shocks, special attention to genital area, itching, forced orgasm, intense pain. This is personal, but I guess I'll just, like lately over the last month, they make that at my area like tingle, and not in a good way. And then they hit it with microwaves. It's been years of, and that's really rape. That's really you know, microwave rape right there. I know a lot of women, a lot of men and women experience that who are target. Sleep deprivation. So cyber psychological systems, radar, mobile towers, and satellites targeting brains. They got it. They got it. I don't see a lot, like I don't see a lot of big organizations that they'll like say, well, it's satellite terrorism or it's this or it's that. But they focus on one, like, or it's drones, right? But it's like radar, mobile towers, satellites, it's like an infrastructure of different things. So they really, that makes me very happy that they're saying all those things. I don't hear radar enough. From us as target individuals, I don't hear people saying, you know, radar, because I think radar is one of the biggest things used on us. Hey, what's up, David? David says, so who else is thinking of moving to the EU? Yeah, man. I was thinking of moving to Russia. That maybe you know, my attackers would at least stop for a couple of months if I moved to Russia, because I don't think they want Russia capturing some of the signals and frequencies that they're using to torture us, because like Russia is in a race with, it's just gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna have to get a new one of those, whatever. That pisses me off. Hey, what's up, Alexis? Alexis says, I use Kratom. Thinking about taking some Kratom right now. Man, Serendipity says, abide in the kilo. Yeah, guys, hey, everybody thumbs up right now. Everybody hit thumbs up to try and get this information out. Because we've got World Against Electronic Torture Day. I think I'll just say it differently every time. Yeah, Joseph Wade Paulson says, I would stream my video, Kyle, if you agree with it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Joseph Wade Paulson says, I've been injected with antipsychotics as well. Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah, see, that's what I think about the rape, though. I mean, that's what I think about the mind. Like politically persecuted saying, and I see where you're coming from. Like I see where people are saying, don't say rape for the mind stuff, because that's, but like that's, and so politically persecuted says specific genital torture can be called rape without question. But see, for me, it's like them raping my genitals is far less dangerous and awful than them raping my solitude in my mind. So go ahead and rape. I mean, don't go ahead and rape my genitals. Y'all know what I mean, though. It's like it's much more serious and degrading for what they do to the brain for me. But I see where people are coming from, where they say it's a little bit too much. Hey, Greg says, along with all previous injuries being focused on and made to hurt worse. Yeah, I experienced it. Like I hurt a rib a while back, like a couple of months ago, and the pain will go away, but I'll wake up sometimes and it's just like so super sore, or I have like a wound over here on my hip, and then especially this too, like my jaw area, and they can just make it flare up with the remote neural manipulation. This is a really good website, though, guys. Y'all check it out. You got to go. Thanks for coming, Arachno Mixon. I think you guys get the word out. I think Friday I'm just going to do a long live stream. Just trying. I guess we'll just hang out. We'll just hang out, go through information. If people want to come on, they can come on. It'll kind of be my thing. And what we'll do, maybe I'll call DHS Fusion Centers on the live stream. And I hate announcing stuff because I know my attackers are going to just make me feel horrible on Friday. But yeah, we'll do some things. We'll let some people come on. People who are out at the protests, they can come on or send me video if they want. I'll just put it up. We'll just say it'll be very impromptu, not very organized. So UN starts investigation to ban cyber torture. This is possibly the greatest crime in history. I agree. The illegal harvesting of brain data, harassment with microwave auditory effects, and mind reading. These crimes against humanity need to be regulated by laws, need to be just abolished. Like the use of these to hurt people without their consent, unless you've got somebody coming and saying, hey, I'm a volunteer, you can use these weapons on me, I'll sign my life away, then you can do it to them. But involuntary use of any of this stuff ever, and this is what they plan on doing, right? They plan on scaling up this infrastructure and this weaponry to hook everybody in to directed energy, to hook everybody into remote neural manipulation. That's what the future holds. Like, I mean, I guess we can change it. I'm kind of just focused on getting us out of the torture right now. And then I don't know what's going to happen to all of us later, but we can change this. You know, we can quicken the end of the illegal top secret programs, but then humanity is going to have to deal with the 5G infrastructure and vaccines and all of these things turning us into basically robots to be played with. I mean, all of humanity is going to have to deal with that. The sooner that people know about our situation and we can bring the top secret stuff to the surface where it's pushed back, the sooner that humanity can fight that fight, you know. But I mean, honestly, I think that I think a collapse is coming. Like I look at it and I'm seeing that we're in the disruption phase. I'll play this thing after we go through this website a little bit. I think we're in the disruption phase and we've got about 6 more months, maybe a year. You know, I'm not sure. I'm just like, we'll look at this video. This video resonates with me, what this guy is saying. He talks about it a little bit too happily. He's like, man, you can get ready and just be able to make a lot of money during this time. And the spring is coming after the collapse. He's like kind of celebrating that there's going to be a new world order. So I'm kind of scratching my head with a lot of people, and I'm like, are they Satanists? They're celebrating this collapse and then the new world order coming in? And then yes, there are a lot of Satanists out there, and they are celebrating this collapse. Madonna was saying something about, you know, the CV it makes us all equal now, and I think they all know that it's like they could go at any time, they could be attacked and murdered, and they're just celebrating it like idiot Satanists that they are. So the illegal harvesting of brain data, harassment with microwave auditory effects, and mind reading. These crimes against humanity need to be regulated by laws. The UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, Nils Melzer, and his team are working on this and suggest the creation of guarding. Listen to this. I didn't know about this. Nils Melzer and his team are working on this and suggest the creation of guarding AI self-controlled mechanisms for protecting tortured individuals for crimes previously hard to prove because of invisibility, secrecy, and deception. The creation of guarding AI self-controlled mechanisms for protecting tortured individuals from crimes previously hard to prove because of invisibility, secrecy, and deception. That makes me think of like, so maybe in the future, a little bit in the future, we will have like our own equipment, and it will be run by an automated system, and it can protect from attacks. I think that's what they're talking about. Sounds pretty cool. Yeah, Joseph Wade Paulson says, the video explained that it won't stop. The police will always have this tech. Yeah, but people's awareness about the technology is going to come out, and then you're going to have way more people all around the world dealing with the problem. You will have it to where it's not going to be able to be secret anymore, because all of the public around the world will know about it and will know that directed energy can interact with the brain, with the body, and so they won't be able to get away with just like torturing somebody in a family and then the whole family thinking they're just crazy, right? Because people will be more aware of these technologies. So maybe it will we'll always have a problem with these technologies, but it won't look the same. The intense top secret, we're going to murder you, and I keep saying the RAP in your home. It's going to change to where these things can be detected easier. They may be used on a more wide scale, right? There may be some newer things that come out that can't be detected. But with this, the situation will change. It always does. In history, whenever a new technology comes out, it's secretly used against people, poisons and radiation stuff. Then the public becomes aware of them. Better readings can be gotten. Better laws are put into place and things like that. So it'll always be around. This technology will always be around. Serendipity Blooming says, Catherine Horton said use tiny magnets to find implants, and they stick to me in several places. I really didn't think it would work. My partner is finally waking up now seeing that. That's cool. So you just get neodymium magnets? I've still got it. I'm going to an ear, eye, nose, and throat doctor because I'm sure I have an implant in my sinus cavity. Because before I even knew I was targeted, I had problems where it was like pulsing from my face up into my eyes. And then it's like, even right now, when I start doing a video, this will start like pulsing. So I'm going to see if I can get the implant out. I'm going to have to be really, really smart about it, the way I talk to the doctors about it. And I'll let y'all know how I talk to them about it. Oh, an angel gets its wings. Tansy said, do you guys know what happens when we give a TI a thumbs up? An angel gets its wings. Yeah, Tansy says, well, every time we give a TI a thumbs up, we give the perps the middle finger. What? Definitely, we got to start getting bold. We're at that time, man. We're at that time where it's like so many good things are coming up for us, but also the world is changing in this such bizarre, bad way, but in a way where you tell somebody about something like this and they're like, go figure. You know, we're getting to that point where it's like, my mom, a few years ago, she was like, her worldview was like, no, nothing bizarre like that happens. You're mentally ill, because that's what I've been told. But she's seen the changes in the world, right? And she's like, go figure. They're experimenting on people. Yeah. You know, because she sees all the other corrupt stuff. So we got to be bold in this. Just got to be bold. Things are changing. Things are changing for the worse. But in that changing for the worse, ironically, there's some changes for us coming along that can change the intensity of the top secret torture that's happening to us now. And then we're going to have to figure out how to deal with all the other bigger stuff, you know. Joseph says, people knowing about this info is much better than being surprised by the news and thinking it's God speaking. Yeah, I remember seeing a whole lot of videos, by targeted individuals who were like, I had an angel and a demon talking to my head, and all these other targeted individuals are talking about directed energy weapons and remote neural manipulation, and you know, that's crazy. This is demons and angels. And for me, my targeting, I heard the voice to skull, but they just acted like they were my neighbors. And I guess they had remote neural monitored me and saw that I wouldn't believe that. I wouldn't believe it was God speaking to me. I wouldn't believe that it's demons and angels. So they just did it in this kind of more concrete way, where I thought it was like my neighbors shooting it at me. Because God speaks to me like he doesn't speak in a voice, in a big booming voice or anything like that. He speaks to my heart. He speaks through the world. He speaks in this way that they can sometimes trick me a little bit, but most of the time it's in such a random way that they can't really do anything about it. Anne says, Kyle, think very hard about doctor. Do you have an appointment? No, I've got to make an appointment with an ear, eye, nose, and throat doctor. And then I've got my appointment with my psychiatrist on the 3rd, which I'm probably going to get some lorazepam as a chemical shielding. Take like 0.5 a day. Maybe I'll be able to do more, because it seems like without the lorazepam, it's not too bad. It's been for like a half a year I haven't had lorazepam. But like when I'm about to do things, my attackers seem to be able to remote neural manipulate my emotions way more strongly, kind of mind control me out of doing things. So I'm gonna have to think about how I'm gonna say it to him. Anne says, I've been to a zillion doctors and they all say the exact same things. I've been locked up 8 times for barely hinting at the targeting, much less chips, anything like that. Yeah. And somebody went to Dr. Hoffer, who I need to talk to. If you want a doctor that you can tell about your targeting, you know, Dr. John Hall, Dr. Hoffer. I think that we need to go to neurologists, and if you're not comfortable with telling them about the targeting, somehow get them to give you a DTI, and then do it in a couple of months. I think we need to do that. But I think what we should do is we should hold steady, try some things, but be very, very careful and feel the person out, because some doctors, you can tell them about this, they're not going to get you in trouble. Some will throw you in a mental institution, like you said, for just like, you know, alluding to targeting. But I think the UN is going to make some big changes where you're going to have some doctors attached to that, right? You're going to have some doctors in the world who see this being talked about by the UN, and we'll have a much bigger pool of doctors to pick from, and maybe somebody closer to you who is specializing in helping people going through this. I think things are going to change big time. I just think things are going to change big time. Yeah, if you understand what this stuff is before it happens to you, you have a lot less a chance of doing something violent, or believing that it's, you know, believing it's something. It is evil, spiritual people and technology. It's spiritual and physical, but thinking that it's completely spiritual, and then they have you, the attackers have you at their mercy of really pushing your belief systems. You okay, Pepper? What you doing? You choking on something? Ann says, I don't mean to diss, but they do not need chips. The nanos in the brain. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And yeah, I have to clear that up every time. So redundant systems, right? There have been implants put in since Project Moonstruck, even before then. Project Moonstruck in 1952. Then many targeted individuals have small implants, like in their nasal sinus cavities, in their inner ears, body area networks, and things like that. They don't need those things, right? They've moved on. The technology has moved on to where they don't even need nanotech. They can just interact with your unique brainwave signature, because you have natural magnetite in the brain. However, I say this word a lot: redundant systems, right? Redundant systems, so they have implants in some TIs, nanotechnology in some TIs, both in some TIs. Then using the unique brainwave signature too, they have these redundant systems to fall back on. But not only that, they have catalysts to intensify the targeting, right? Your body becomes a dirty circuit board when you have heavy metals, nanotechnology, Morgellons type nanoparticulates. It can intensify in certain places, like they can cause a lot of pain and discomfort to a certain area if they have an implant there. So yeah, you don't need bigger type implants. However, they do still use them. So you see what I'm saying? None of this stuff that I've ever seen, and this is where we get caught up. It's this. No, it's that. No, it's this. No, it's that. And usually it's this and that. So if you just kind of understand, it's this and that. Usually they're using redundant systems and they're doing a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, I agree. Implants are not needed. They've come up with smart dust. They have smart dust, nanotechnology, whatever's going to be in the vaccine. Hey, bye, politically persecuted. Thank you for coming. Yeah, but I understand that. I think that when I say that, when I talk about implants, people are like, hey, he thinks it's all done by implants, right? But that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's a catalyst, that's a redundant system that they use, but they don't need that. And in some targeted individuals, they are using implants. I think that too. Like when I see some people talking about, they'll talk about a certain thing, and I'm like, it's not just done just by that. And I kind of, like, in my head, it's like, oh, they're just saying it's just that. Like people will talk about drones doing this to us, and I'm like, it's not just drones, but they're right. It is, drones do some of this. Nicholas said, they just shot my upper left ear with another implant. I'm tired of this shit. From like a remote thing? I know that one guy, I know that one guy, I can't remember his name, but they put like an implant in his nose. No, in his ear, and he got it and he pulled it out, but they had to put him to sleep. They like injected him with something, put him to sleep, and then put like an implant in his ear. And then people do talk about being shot. I don't know if they shoot you. Maybe they make you feel like that from remote neural manipulation. Maybe they can push nanotechnology around and stuff like that. Who knows what they can do? Morse code. Hey, thank you, Politically Persecuted. And check my channel out Friday. Maybe Friday afternoon. I'll do like a 4-hour, 5-hour marathon. Kind of got to see how I'm feeling though, guys. I'm going to be honest there. I'm going to try. So this UN report includes a definition of cyber torture by the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture. Here it is. I browsed this, but I wanted to find more concrete stuff that the UN has said. Here it is. Oop. Can y'all see that one when I go to the, yeah. Okay, on February 28, 2020, the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, Professor Niels Melzer, issued his World Report on Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman, or Degrading Treatment or Punishment. This report included a definition of cyber torture, the crime against humanity where millions of targeted individuals worldwide are remotely assaulted with electromagnetic weapons and actions directed via computer, often from supercomputers. Cyber torture. A particular area of concern which does not appear to have received sufficient attention is the possible use of various forms of information and communication technology, cyber technology, for the purposes of torture. Although the promotion, protection, and enjoyment of human rights on the internet has been repeatedly addressed by the Human Rights Council, torture has been understood primarily as a tool used to obstruct the exercise of the right to freedom of expression on the internet, and not as a violation of human rights that could be committed through the use of cyber technology. This seems surprising given that some of the characteristics of cyberspace make it an environment highly conducive to abuse and exploitation, most notably a vast power asymmetry, virtually guaranteed anonymity, and almost complete impunity. Right? People who are completely anonymous, that like my attackers, I can't punch them or, you know, go after them. They can just sit in a room somewhere remotely and you know, torture me and traumatize me all day. States, corporate actors, and organized criminals not only have the capacity to conduct cyber operations inflicting severe suffering on countless individuals, but may well decide to do so for any of the purposes of torture. It is therefore necessary to briefly explore in a preliminary manner the conceivability and basic contours of what could be described as cyber torture. In practice, cyber technology already plays the role of an enabler in the perpetration of both physical and psychological forms of torture, most notably through the collection and transmission of surveillance information and instructions to interrogators, through the dissemination of audio or video recordings of torture or murder for the purposes of intimidation, or even live streaming of child sexual abuse on demand of voyeuristic clients, and increasingly also through the remote control or manipulation of stun belts, medical implants, and conceivably nanotechnological or neurotechnological devices. Cyber technology can also be used to inflict or contribute to severe mental suffering while avoiding the conduit of the physical body. I mean, you know, in our case, in targeted individuals' cases, it's you know, not avoiding the conduit of the physical body. Most notably through intimidation, harassment, surveillance, public shaming, and defamation, as well as appropriation, deletion, or manipulation of information. I guess we could look at the, you know, look at the gang stalking, and that would be avoiding the conduit of the physical body, like people coming out at the same time. As you have this girl with a German Shepherd, and every time I walk Pepper, she comes out. I had that couple who's always coughing around me. Then the vehicular stalking and everything like that. I'm sure you guys experience, the color coding, street theater, people saying what you did the night before, or some people saying what you're thinking actually, or what you have thought before, because they're just, communicated to by DHS fusion centers, because DHS fusion centers are communicated by our our remote neural manipulators, our hive mind team members, and then they tell the street theater people, what to say, and they don't even know why they're saying it. The delivery of serious threats through anonymous phone calls has long been a widespread method of remotely inflicting fear. With the advent of the internet, state security services in particular have been reported to use cyber technology, both in their own territory and abroad, for the systematic surveillance of a wide range of individuals and or for direct interference with their unhindered access to cyber technology. Electronic communication services, social media platforms, and search engines provide an ideal environment both for the anonymous delivery of targeted threats, sexual harassment, and extortion, and for the mass dissemination of intimidating, defamatory, degrading, deceptive, or discriminatory narratives. Individuals or groups systematically targeted by cyber surveillance and cyber harassment are generally left without any effective means of defense, escape, or self-protection, and at least in this respect often find themselves in a situation of powerlessness comparable to physical custody. Depending on the circumstances, the physical absence and anonymity of the perpetrator may even exacerbate the victim's emotions of helplessness, loss of control, and vulnerability. Not unlike the stress augmenting effect of blindfolding or hooding during physical torture. Likewise, the generalized shame, and this is what let me at them. If I knew where my attackers were and I was certain that it was them, I wouldn't do anything. Likewise, the generalized shame inflicted by public exposure, defamation, and degradation can be just as traumatic as direct humiliation by perpetrators in a closed environment. 3, as various studies on cyberbullying have shown, already harassment in comparatively limited environments can expose targeted individuals to extremely elevated and prolonged levels of anxiety, stress, social isolation, and depression, and significantly increases the risk of suicide. Arguably, therefore, much more systematic government-sponsored threats and harassment delivered through cyber technologies not only entail a situation of effective powerlessness, but may well inflict levels of anxiety, stress, shame, and guilt amounting to severe mental suffering, as required for the finding of torture. More generally, in order to ensure the adequate implementation of the prohibition of torture and related legal obligations in present and future circumstances, its interpretation should evolve in line with new challenges and capabilities arising in relation to emerging technologies, not only in cyberspace, but also in areas such as artificial intelligence, robotics, nanotechnology, and neurotechnology, or pharmaceutical and biomedical sciences, including so-called human enhancement. That's great. Al El-Mundi, Next Generation Non-Surgical Neurotechnology, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. That's probably something good to read. Maybe I'll read that on Friday. Okay, wait, I want to read again what that exactly was that I read. This UN report included a definition of cyber torture by the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture. So he's going to go even further in October. See, and that's already talking about neurotechnology. It's talking about, manipulating through artificial intelligence, robotics, nanotechnology, and neurotechnology, or pharmaceutical and biomedical sciences. People getting gassed in their homes, people getting poisoned by stuff. So bigger than Snowden, UN reaches out to targeted individuals worldwide, starts investigation to ban cyber torture. The UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, Professor Niels Melzer, and his team has found evidence that advanced cyber technology is used to inflict mental and physical suffering as claimed for decades by targeted individuals all over the world. Niels Melzer and his team suggest AI self-controlled guarding okay, so we already read that. So this is a good website. This is the video that I put up yesterday that I mirrored on my channel, guys. This is it's a really good documentary, and they put it out like in 2019. Yeah, and yeah, man, and it's weird. Like, you know, a lot of my gang stalkers, they're like, a lot of them are conservative. They're like ex-military and conservative, and they are not wearing masks. Like at my condo, you will get a $50 fine if you don't wear a mask. And all of them are just, they're in an uproar about it, right? I am too, but I don't want to get the $50 fine, and this is kind of my battle, right? But some of my gang stalkers, they're getting upset about the mask, yet they're gang stalking some innocent person being experimented on by microwaves. It's like people are, if they only knew what they were involved in, right, they would be against it. Like some of it kind of goes along with my, like, they don't really know what they're doing, because they're upset about being controlled and having all these stupid rules, and masks don't even work, you know, even if the COVID was what they said. David Irwin said, so it's not some personalized torture, it's just to annoy you then. Never had that myself. I get things at frequencies that bypass my cerebellum and go straight to the medulla. Mine's like very specific for my brain. Like they map my brain, and they know what like the things that my brain does that make me stronger, that help me survive, that make me communicate better. And it's like they go for those things, and then they do the general stuff like the interval, you know, the V2K psychic driving, but then also like interfering with my visual cortex, and then inserting awful visuals, and then like at the beginning it was like really fake anxiety, really fake anger, but now it's like they've gotten it to where they'll put, it's like almost like they're putting their EEG over mine. Like I don't know what it's doing to my brain. It's super dangerous. They're doing too much stuff for me to keep track of, that's for sure though. That's kind of what I see. Like if we're a microcosm and the whole of humanity is a macrocosm, it's like they start doing these things like, oh man, the pandemic, and then and then there's some riots and stuff, and we can keep track of those problems, right? But then they start putting on more problems, and there's more angles of these problems until it's like people don't even know what to talk about. They don't know what huge problem to even go after, and then you have a collapse. You get people who are just talking about different stuff and not handling the, like, too many big problems, right? Too many big problems. Like I wanted to kind of cover some of the riots and stuff like that, but I've got to cover this. Hey, Michael. Michael says, hi, Kyle. Nice to be here. Hope you stay strong. I hope you guys stay strong. We've got to make it to October. We got to like push forward and do a bunch of stuff to build up towards October. Look at this. I mean, this is what the UN has already, the Special Rapporteur on Torture, and then you had a confirmation, right? You have a confirmation from Magnus Olsson and Liliana, right, that he knows. Like, he knows about mind control. He knows about neurotechnologies that are torturing people endlessly. He knows. Like, the Special Rapporteur on Torture, he's wrote this report, and then he's gonna go to the UN, and then they'll be on the way to creating laws in every country about it. And once the UN, it's like they might not like at the beginning catch the people doing it right. These are contractors, very, lots of money with the contractors and intelligence agencies and DOD and, whatever the organization is like for your military industrial complex in your country. But if the UN declares laws worldwide and begins an investigation, how does that affect these people, these contractors that are just doing this willy-nilly? Did they say, oh, screw it, the UN just declared that this is complete, it's against human rights, or did they back off? And I think that they back off. I think that they back off, and they may even stop, like if the UN declares it. I think, I'm getting that feeling from my attackers. They keep saying, you're not going to make it till then. Like, you're not going to make it till October. And kind of the feeling I get from my attackers is they don't even really know. They don't even know how it's going to change things. They're just going to do the torture and do the experimentation until somebody tells them to stop. David Irwin says doxing needs to be criminalized before they can even address the more specific issues of cyberstalking, because that brings online harassment into the physical world. Yeah, people getting swatted and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I'm just like all that stuff's important, and gang stalking is important. People hacking into your computer is important, because like my computer's hacked into while I'm being tortured and mind control and stuff like that. But for me, it's just like, stop the physical torture, stop the mental torture, get the directed energy off of my body, and then like everything else, then we can talk about everything else that's not killing us, right? Like the poisonings, the getting stuff sprayed into your house, the things that are deadly, right? And that mess us up neurologically and physically. I'm like, gotta stop those. That's gotta be the priority. And then it's like and then we'll talk about all this other stuff. It needs to be stopped. But I'm just thinking, I think about it like this way. Like, if I was just getting gang stalked and I didn't even really feel the torture, like I didn't even feel the directed energy weapons, I was like, I don't even know if I'm being, electronically tortured, cyber tortured, but I get gang stalking, I don't think that I'd be on YouTube. Like, I'd just be like, man, that's annoying, but I'm just going to kind of do my job. And so it's like the severe physical murder is what I prioritize. But yeah, any kind of evil, any kind of thing that puts people in harm's way. Oh, David Irwin says, ain't the tiny crown going to kill you? It's the eye in the crown. That's so true. And the CV is just a vehicle. It's a vehicle for them. And a lot of people have said this. A lot of people have said that the economy was going to crash anyway. And they set this up because the economy was set to crash anyway. And so one of the angles was to hide the bubble bursting in the economy. I don't know about that. I think this was specifically to destroy the economy, to destroy the middle class, to get people in a more controlled space, to do a lot of things with the mask, like an initiation, a lockdown and isolation, and it's sort of an initiation ritual. And then when the collapse and everything's over, then people emerge into this new world, right? The ones that make it. I think it's very sick and twisted and satanic and like Masonic, Kabbalistic. It's like trying to bring the whole population, those that survive, into this new world order and initiate them into this Luciferian system. It's really horrible. But it doesn't change who we follow. It doesn't change. And sometimes I'm like, man, I see real hope for the intense torture stopping. Logically, I see that. Like, I need God for a lot of things. I see it's I don't know what's going to happen, but on the bigger thing, I'm just like, I don't understand God. I don't understand how this is going to get better. But that's when I'm like, God has a way. I don't know the details, and I've just got to do my best. We all do that. We're going to see miracles, right? And we're just going through dark times. We're going through dark times, and I think things are going to get darker on a whole scale. But that's why it's so important to, and this isn't like in any kind of Illuminati way, it's important to be the light, right? To whatever light God puts in you to help people and to do what's right, because the world really needs it right now. You got so many people who are just they're not even being hit with directed energy weapons or remote neural manipulation, but they're brainwashed to be cynical and to think that God is stupid, and to really be chained to this earth and to be nihilistic and stuff like that. You know, a lot of the younger generations are like that. They're very cynical. They're going to do dangerous things in the future. So it really, you know, God calls on us to really teach people, pass that down, pass it down logically, lead by example, show how logical being good can be, you know, having faith can be, show how cool it can be. Because it's very logical and it makes a lot of sense, and God makes a lot of sense. But this world is trying to make it. They're trying to cut people off from that connection with God, because we're genetically created to believe in something bigger. We're lit up when we have faith. When we have faith in God, physically we heal more. We can do greater things. The probability is on our side. All these logical things, if they can get us cut off and thinking we're just like this little tiny ant that's not connected to anything in the universe, not connected to any kind of creator, anything bigger, then they've got us. They can easily control us. Nothing can go right. I mean, things can go right in the world, but it's like really, it's a lot harder for things to go right in your life, you know. So who we are. So let's read about the organization, the EU Coalition. Article 1 of the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the EU states that human dignity is inviolable. So EU 2000 states that human dignity is inviolable. Inviolable. I have no idea. I've never heard that word before. It must be respected and protected. In a highly information and communications technology-based world, this fundamental human right and basic ethical principle is facing an increasing threat. The European Coalition Task Force Against Cyber Torture is a not-for-profit coalition found to stop the problem of non-consensual experimentation using remote cyber psychological systems like cognitive radio influencing technologies and techniques on the human mind and body. We propose clear ethical boundaries to regulate their use and to handle this situation to regulate new technologies and use AI control mechanisms by independent and impartial investigators. That's very interesting. So Niels Melzer's talking about this, and the EU Coalition are talking about using AI systems to actually be able to detect some of this stuff and protect from it. I've got to find out more about that. The evidence gathered could then be used to convict criminals easier and quicker in the future. What we do. The European Coalition Task Force Against Cyber Torture is established to raising awareness to the legal systems as well as to medical and scientific community to the crime of illegal biomedical and weaponry research committed on citizens in the European Union and beyond. As a European network, the coalition acts as a lobbying and advocacy platform towards the EU and more. Using our international network of scientific and technology experts, partners in civil and human rights organizations, as well as important stakeholders in civil society, we provide consultancy services to the EU institutions based on our expertise. The coalition's organizational goal is to influence EU legislation and decision-making policy process in calling for a worldwide ban on weapons that might enable any form of manipulation on human beings. How we do it. Awareness-raising campaigns to disseminate information and mobilize public opinion on the issue of covert cyber technologies and techniques that enable the manipulation of human beings. Providing expert consultancy. Why am I having so hard time reading words? Providing expert consultancy to key decision makers on the creation of appropriate EU legislation to protect civil citizens from cyber covert crimes. Organizing networking events, workshops, seminars, conferences involving all actors concerned to exchange experiences and best practices for the establishment of clear ethical boundaries to strictly regulate the use of cyber systems enabling the manipulation and control of human beings. That's great. Our philosophy. It is our philosophy that all men are equal before the law. Everybody's right to life shall be protected. Nobody shall be subjected to torture or held in slavery. any technologies and techniques capable of endangering the human physical and or psychological health to modify the individual's autonomy and affect their dignity should be strictly prohibited. Your brain data price. How much is your brain data worth in money? Cyber torture is about mining of brain data. Have you read the price list? How much is a thought, an emotion, a memory worth in money? What are they worth recorded during torture? This mining of brain data during torture from innocent civilians worldwide is maybe the biggest crime in history. The UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, Niels Melzer, and his team suggest radio frequency spectrum guarding mechanisms controlled by AI to protect so-called targeted individuals from these crimes. So basically getting, you know, Rife, like not Rife machines, but basically getting a jammer that can alternate, that an AI can make this jammer jam certain signals, or radio frequency spectrum guarding mechanisms. I guess like kind of like the Q-Wave Defender or the Schumann resonance thing, but on a much better scale, right? Where AI is directing what kind of fields, protective fields it puts out. That's where I think this is going. That's where, you know, I think that this program is going to end in the form that it's in, but I think that from the very beginning, I thought of this like something you put on your belt that creates a field around you that constantly changes, that is controlled by an AI to constantly change the defense, because the automated systems can change and adapt too. It's like a field around, like a force field. I think we're going to have those, or something in the ear. I think that like naval intelligence, the president, certain people have certain things that they'll put in their ear that guard their, or both ears, to guard their vestibular systems, because the vestibular system is where they're doing the biorelevant feedback loop to the brain. So they put something in there kind of like a noise canceling hearing aid, but way more sophisticated and ever adapting, putting like this interference frequency right into the inner ear, where most of the mind control, well, where most of remote neural manipulation is done, from my experience, you know. That's why I tell you guys, get the noise canceling hearing aids, get Dave Case's CD, start with those things in the grounding. Serendipity Blooming says God can remove the implants too. I agree with that. I agree with that, and this is how I see things. This is how I've experienced things, and I feel like it's important to tell you guys. So, in serendipity may mean like it can just disappear, right? And it can just disappear. What I've experienced in my life is that you trust in God to do things, and it happens in this really weird way. Like you may meet a doctor that can actually take it out, or something happens where it malfunctions, or something comes in, right? So the way I've experienced it isn't like just magical, you know, something just happens and it's not explainable by science, but by variables coming in certain forms through the universe, through your life, that you could have never thought of, that seem very improbable, impossible, and these variables happen. If you trust in God and you keep moving forward, these variables happen, and you're like, oh wow, I didn't even think about that. That actually got fixed in that way, right? Now sometimes, like I've been watching a lot of Joel Osteen, and sometimes you trust in God, things get worse. You're in a time where you need to trust in God, and you know, just things don't go right, right? That's life. That's right. But we need to keep trusting in God in His will, and then sometimes things turn around very quickly. You know, I've experienced it, so I can't turn my back on it. I know that some people, it's been so rough, it's been so hard, and it's hard to see like, oh, well, God's just going to save me because everything seems to have gone wrong, right? And I've had a lot of really bad things happen in my life, but by moving forward and having faith, it's the only chance that I had of the good things that I've experienced along the way, you know? So it's very ironic, really ironic. And I think the bottom line is to just, even if you don't understand everything, stick with God, stay in faith, help people, because in helping people, you're going to plant a seed to help yourself, right? If we do those things, keep surviving, keep moving forward, we're going to find better and better ways. We take what we can now with defenses. We take what we can now about, I mean, taking what we can now, that seems silly. The UN is about to announce our issue. Like the UN, I know a lot of us were like, oh, the UN, they're doing Agenda 21, all this stuff. But that matters. That's bad for humanity. But when the UN announces something worldwide, that changes our situation. And we're going to have to go, I mean, we're going to have to live in a world with everybody else where things collapse. It's just, I mean, that's, hopefully they won't collapse. Hopefully, but look at it this way, either before or after the collapse, more people are going to come to God. They're going to see how the world has failed. And they're going to see how a world without God, leaders who literally want to play God because they don't want to believe in God, and they want to pull everybody away from, more people are going to see how that has completely failed, that has betrayed humanity. So I just see, man, we gotta remain hopeful about like the intense top secret torture that's happening to us. If that can change, then we can all think clear. We can be more healthy. We can gather more resources, be able to get resources for what we need to do in this world to help our families with everything else that's going on in the world, right? It's kind of that main priority where everything's kind of stopped up because of this. The world's doing bad, but you unstop this, then it's like you have a lot more freedom to do what you need to do and help others in the way that you can, that with your full freedom, you can help other people. You know. Michael says, during the Iraqi war, the Pentagon said putting microwave weapons on jeeps and helicopters would be too humane. They lied big time. Yeah. They said it'd be too humane. During the Iraqi war, the Pentagon said putting microwave weapons on jeeps and helicopters would be too inhumane. Inhumane, you said. They lied big time. Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks, Joseph. Yeah, I'm gonna drink. I got a sandwich from Popeyes and a little Coke here. Yeah, and I've experienced it, serendipity, and it seems like you have too. In this situation, it's so hard, but this is just the time that we're in. This is the time we were born in. I think this is my thought on it. I'm still going to step into my destiny. I'm going to step into what God wanted me to do in this life in this time. And I feel like my priority, there may be different priorities for different people, for different targeted individuals, for non-targeted individuals. I think that I was here to speak about this, to get, and then after this torture stops or it changes and it's everyone talking about it in the world and changes are being made, then I'm going to go to God and say, like, what now? What do you want me to do now? Do you want me to keep working on this? We may be stepping into a time, I mean, think about it this way, guys. We might be stepping into a time where the world becomes aware of this torture and how long it's going on, and things for you in your life and the way that people treat you could completely flip. Like even in the bizarre collapse of our civilization, things could completely flip where you are now like, people are like, you went through that, I can treat you well. Or new markets open up for people who have gone through this, or for things about this technology that can actually be done good things, right? That they're going to try and make more laws to stop the bad things from happening, but you would understand more about it. So you can actually do things in those new consumer markets where this technology would actually be used in the right ways. So everything can turn around in a short amount of time, you know. And I've thought that 5 years ago. It's like everything can turn around, and things just got worse and worse and worse. But it's like God will send stuff into your heart and people in your life that encourage you and tell you it's just not time, right? It's in God's timing. So I mean, not everything necessarily does get better, but it's like when you have faith in God, He definitely gives you the strength to get through that darkness, right? So this is from Roger James Hamilton's channel. I don't know if I'll get a copyright. If I get a copyright, I'll edit it out. But let's play this, because he talks about the fourth turning, how this crisis was predicted 30 years ago. I think that everybody should watch this, go to Roger James Hamilton and look at the fourth turning, because I think these guys are right. I think the guys that predicted it were right about the time that we're in. And we do have to get ready for a collapse in our society. We have to get ready for a collapse. We've got to just trust in God and do our best. But I think that the ironic thing and the hopeful thing about this is, for the disruption part, where people are losing faith in the system, I think that this being revealed, that people are being tortured by these technologies, because they have to get knowledge of these technologies out to the public to do it to the whole public. There's no way that they can scale up these technologies to be used in consumer markets, medical, everybody's being used everywhere for everything, right? Electromagnetic frequencies. They can't do that by keeping this secret. It doesn't work. Like, that does not work, to use these things on a mass grand scale for everything that everybody does during the day, if the public doesn't know about it. And I believe that this, you know, and I'm not saying anything about Niels Melzer. I don't know him personally, and I don't like what he's doing. But I do believe the whole thing is part of a plan, and in part of this big plan that's going to collapse things, part of that is things getting better for us with this torture. Then we got a whole new can of worms with what's happening to the world, right? So let's watch this. He explains it very well. I'm going to take some kratom here.
What would you do if you could tell the future? Did you know that it was 30 years ago that two authors predicted the current...
And I want to say this. He's saying, what would you do if you could tell the future? And he acts like these guys kind of predicted that this was happening. What I think, and what a lot of people have commented on, was this was all planned. These guys were, you know, part of those families, part of those people with knowledge that this was coming. Because people who are Masons, Mystery Babylon, Kabbalists, Talmudists, things like that, they were aware that this was going to be a time, like, you know, Tom Hanks says, it's time for the Great Reset. Well, how the hell would he know that? How the hell would he know it's time for a Great Reset? You know, because they're in these secret societies that have planned for this, right? I'm not sure about the guy making the video, but I know the guys that wrote the book, like the entrepreneurs, they were probably involved in, you know, in these groups.
Crisis we're in, everything from the coronavirus crisis through to the American riots. And in fact, we are only in the first of 5 stages of this crisis. Hi, it's Roger Hamilton here again with another episode of Entrepreneur TV, and on this episode, I'm going to go through exactly...
Look at his hair, man. Does my hair look like that? I'm going to do my hair like that. My hair can look like that. Just poof ball it. Just poof ball my hair. I'm going to see my hair right now. It's really bad. It's really bad. I got hat hair for the rest of my life. Hey, Charles. Charles says, hi, everyone. How are you doing, brother? I got to really get on that. I'm going to get on that ear, eye, nose, and throat thing and see if they can help me with x-raying, you know, my sinus cavity and everything, and let you know how that goes. Hey, SHP. SHP says, hey, Vulcan, we popped the weapons publication documents soon to hit online. We have names of scientists involved too. Oh, that's great. That's great. So, like, I mean, I'm trying to get ISPs that are connected to me, and I'm doing the other stuff too, and just documenting it. But I just don't know what to do with the information. I'm going to look at some of your latest videos. Everybody check SHP out. Are y'all going to just present it to the UN? It's a really good time to be getting that evidence. It's a really good time to be getting that evidence of people hooking into our networks, because we can just, like, we're going to have somebody to give it to at the UN. That's awesome. Yeah, Charles says, I'm hurting bad, really sore. Yeah, I'm having, like, a lot of trouble breathing. Like, up here is really sore, and then down my spine. Have you tried, Charles? Have you tried the noise canceling hearing aids? Is there any way that you could afford the Britsco hearing aids? These have, like, without these, I can't even function. But with the hearing aids, I can kind of function. Let me look them up real quick and show y'all the hearing aids real quick before I move on with this. I really recommend them. They are kind of expensive. Let's see how expensive they are on Amazon. I really recommend these, to use these, the noise canceling hearing aids, like during the day, and then like when you sleep, use Dave Case's CD. That combination seems to really keep things at a toned down level for me. It still hurts. I still get remote neural manipulation. They can make me kind of sore, but it keeps it at bay. Like getting the noise canceling hearing aids in your vestibular system. I'm gonna go on Amazon real quick. Let's see how expensive they are. I got one, a pair that was way more expensive, and they didn't work as well as the Britsco. And Dr. Hoffer said the Britsco were okay. Let's see, Britsco. Everybody, if you're getting remote neural manipulation of your nervous system and the high-pitched sound and everything, try and find some way to save up and get these. Like, honestly, Britsco noise. I know, and let's see how expensive they are. But even if it's like $100. I think it's like $120. I think it's $120 for both of them. I'll show you guys. Let me find the ones. You could probably get a less expensive pair. Shit. 79. Oh, for two. They're $75 a piece. So if you get two, it's $150. $150 is a lot, guys. It's still worth it. I would still recommend them. It's such a huge difference. Let me show you guys this. If you have $150, or you can save up, like just save up all month. Like if you have Social Security or something, put $150 aside. I know that none of us have money, but I really, really recommend them. And like Dave Case CDs, pretty much you just pay for shipping, and then I'd get these. This would be probably the most expensive thing that I would recommend, and it's worth it. See this gray right here? I took them out. Like I took them out because I was like, I think that maybe my attackers are manipulating them somehow. Waited for like 2 weeks. My body was hot, constant. Like they get a little bit through. They get a little bit through, and like the mental stuff is still kind of bad, but the physical, like high pitch ringing, head being crushed in, it's all it reduces it at least. I mean, more than 50%. More than 50%. So look into these, guys. Look into the Britsco noise canceling hearing aids. Maybe look at some ones that are a little bit cheaper, but Dr. Hoffer said that these were good. I'd recommend them. I'd recommend, like, maybe, for a month, if you eat fast food or something like that, find some way to save, like to buy cheaper food or eat ramen noodles for a month or something like that. These are worth it, and these can get you to October, to the UN, doing some big stuff. This Dave Case CD and the grounding, and then we need to cover our heads too, but that gets a little bit more complicated, right? I would try it though. Yeah. Charles said I have a lot of stuff. It still gets pretty bad. Joseph says, if you've got B2K, it helps to be as good as you can and to not think about bad stuff inside your mind. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. That's a hard thing, because like I've tried like stopping thinking, and you can't. But that's a very hard thing, that it's like you can't really just tell somebody, hey, well, just don't. You've got people remote neural monitoring you and responding to your thoughts. Just don't care about what they think, right? Like, I'm very good at not giving a crap, or I was before the mind control and all this stuff. Now I'm more self-conscious, which sucks. Like, you can't just not care about people seeing your thoughts. I don't know what to do about that one. Your thoughts, you're gonna be conditioned over time to think differently. Like, you're not even gonna be able to help it. Like, your thinking is gonna be different, because before the targeting, and you knew that people were watching the visuals in your head and your inner voice, you just thought whatever, and it didn't matter, because your thoughts are in your head. It's not your actions. Who cares? You can think about butts or whatever, and it just, things change when you understand. Like, when you're in a group, you think and talk differently, right? When you're in a group of friends or whatever, this is a group of people, like, looking at your thoughts. And I know a lot of times it's automated systems. For me, there are human operators, so it gets really weird. And it just does, it's one of the very, very dangerous things. It just changes, it rapes your thinking, right? That's why I say rape, because even just knowing that people are watching your thoughts, it rapes the way you think, to where it's hard to reverse that. I don't know. I mean, just to not give a crap. These people are murderers, so whatever you think is like 1%, maybe if it's even a bad thing that you think, it's like not even comparable to raping somebody's thoughts and watching them, you know. Serendipity says, Kyle, what's the difference between different models? I'm not sure. I know those are the ones that I got, and I showed them to Dr. Hoffer, and he said, yeah, that's a good pair. Then I got some ones that are smaller, but they didn't really work good. They were more expensive. They were like $80 a pair. So you could probably get some that look like them. You could probably get a Briscoes, maybe $100 pair or something like that. Maybe just try and find one a little bit cheaper, and it'd probably work the same. Just make sure they're noise canceling. You want that noise canceling frequency going right into your inner ear. And I guarantee you, if you're getting the high pitched sound, that's going to reduce, and the nervous system pain is going to reduce, and the even some of the brain fog is going to reduce. I'd say, I know it's $150, but if you can get it, it's guaranteed. If you have remote neural manipulation, it's guaranteed. And I think that we all have remote neural manipulation. And the way that you can say, well, I don't know if they're going to work for me. If you're getting the high pitched sound in your ears, and then you're getting fiery pain on your nervous system that you're pretty sure is not an external hit, you're maybe getting external hits too. But if you're getting the high pitched ring in your ears, and you're getting like nervous system soreness, pain, crushing, stabbing pains like that, then those you need to get those noise canceling. You need to find some way, maybe borrow money from a family member, or do something to get those noise canceling hearing aids for sure. And get Dave Case's CD, because you got to give your ears a rest. So you can't just wear them 24 hours a day. So at night, listen to Dave Case's CD, and then during the day, listen to the noise canceling hearing aids. And then the grounding for external hits. And then the stuff on my head, I think we need to get copper fabric. We need to get a bunch of copper fabric, make balaclavas, I need to make a store. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, but I wish that I could make a store with getting copper fabric and making balaclavas, you know, or something like Robert Stanson's magnetic helmet, or he's made a mu metal helmet. Get creative. You do need to guard your head and your neck if you can. I like soft materials. I can't really wear helmets around. I can wear them from time to time, right? But it's just, I need something that's soft fabric, either copper or like this less EMF stuff, that I can just wear it kind of like one of those medieval, interlocking silver things. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? What are those things called? I'm going to look that up. Y'all know what I'm talking about, like the silver chain head thing. Meerkat says, I like turtles. I like turtles. Yeah. What are those things called, Meerkat? What are the medieval things that you wear, the chain link head things? I got one of those one time, but my attackers, and it worked for a second, It was like this chain link head blocker thing from Less EMF, and it worked for like a day. But then my attacker switched over to a more electromagnetic frequency, and it actually started burning my skin, you know. Cool. Yeah, but I really recommend those, man. Okay, Serendipity says fasting, no ramen, MSG is neurotoxic. Well, just don't put the sauce on them, you know. Don't, when you eat ramen noodles, put butter or cheese on them, but don't use the little flavor packet, you know. Nebulizing glutathione does wonders for me. Yeah, there's so many good chainmail. That's it. Thank you, Meerkat. Yeah, chainmail. So let's watch this real quick. This the fourth turning, and it's kind of it's scary, but I want to tell y'all why it's hopeful for targeted individuals, why it's hopeful for people going through this torture, how I see society going, and how I see our issue will be used in the disruption phase. This will all come out that people have been tortured. The UN will be talking about it. It will be a thing. This is going to be a thing, guys. So get ready. You might be a person that you went through that. Oh, wow. And you might get treated better. Sometimes God flips things around in a big way. When people understand how bizarre things are, how technology is moving, in your families, you might be treated better. Or maybe some of you guys, you know, you're not going to talk to your families anymore, but some of you guys, families might treat you better, you know, because they're going to be like, oh, you were tortured by directed energy weapons? Oh, you know, we're going to treat you better now. It could happen.
Who predicted this? What these 5
It could happen.
And how you can go about preparing for the future to ensure
His
that you're ready
hair
for what's about to come.
really,
so exactly in the
really takes me out of what I'm
1990s,
saying.
That 2 authors, William Strauss and Neil Howe, came up with a book which was called Generations. And after that book, Generations, they came up with this book, which is called The Fourth Turning. The Fourth Turning, an American prophecy, what the cycles of history tell us about America's next rendezvous with destiny. So what Strauss and Howe basically figured out in their book Generations is that we all
and guys, I just wanted to say, okay, Kratom, I get mine from CBD Kratom, but probably you need to get it from somewhere cheaper. I'm running out of money, so I got to find somewhere cheaper. But I get a green, a white, and a red vein Kratom, and it takes the edge off. It really takes the edge off the pain. Kind of buys time. Everything that I do kind of buys time, but the noise canceling hearing aids don't buy time. They literally cut it off. Look at this. It says telemarketer. Look, it's a telemarketer. It actually says telemarketer. I didn't know they started doing that. Okay, let's keep going on. But what I want to say is, like, a lot of the things I do, they buy time, right? They buy you some time of feeling better. Dave Case's CD, the noise canceling hearing aids, the headgear, the grounding, those kind of turn things around. But a lot of things that I do, it buys time. It's not maintainable for like a decade, right? After a couple of years, your attackers start to get around it. But the noise canceling hearing aids and Dave Case's CD and the grounding, they really turn things around. You know, I guess the headgear, my attackers have kind of adapted to a little bit.
Time. In fact, all of humanity goes through these 18-90-year cycles, which are divided into 4 lifetimes. And in those 4 lifetimes, we effectively go through the same seasons of spring, leading to summer, leading to autumn, leading to winter. And when they wrote the book in the 1990s, we were in what they call the unraveling, which is the autumn season. And they saw, hey, there's a crisis coming, which was a winter season, and it was about time they warned the American public. Now, in the 1990s, when they actually wrote this book, not a lot of people were listening because it was the dot-com boom, everyone was doing great. And so as a result, there's only a small group of people that actually started taking this seriously. And even for them, this was too far in the future because they were saying that the entire crisis would happen from 2005 to 2025, it was too far in the future for people to even worry too much about this. But now we're in the crisis, and so now it's time to worry. So what can we learn from the book, and what can we learn about the next steps we should take? Strauss and Howe looked at the fourth turning as the end of an entire cycle where everything changed. And so the last three turnings we had, 300 years ago, it was the American Revolution. The American Revolution was around
really?
1760s to 1790s.
Meerkat? Meerkat says kratom is a Schedule I substance here. You're in India? It's really not dangerous. That's so awful that they made kratom a Schedule I substance where you live. It's really, really safe. It's really mild and safe. It's kind of psychologically addictive. Like I'm sometimes I'm like, man, I need to take my kratom today to feel a little bit better. But it's like when you get off of it, if you stop taking it, you do get a little bit irritable and stuff like that. But it's nothing compared to like narcotic painkillers, other kinds of drugs. You know, I'd compare it kind of like I compare it to like marijuana a little bit. It's very mild, and it's not like a hardcore drug. Yeah, I'd say, guys, I know that the noise canceling hearing aids are $150, but they're worth way more than that, because it's like it cuts down a lot of the body pain, the ringing in the ears, headaches, not being able to do anything, just being put out of commission. You start using the noise canceling hearing aids, you're going to be like, wow. I mean, it's going to feel like 80% better, and they may adapt a little bit. But it's definitely it's something that I think that it's like relief that I would pay like $3,000 for. So it's worth more. I mean, what can you really put a price on, like you feeling better from the torture of it, if it cutting off, you know, the torture in a big way? And those things have really given me hope, because you're putting a noise canceling frequency to your inner ear, and it's like chopping off like 80% of the pain and everything that feels like, how did some little noise canceling hearing aids do that? And that's the trick to this targeting. They're neurally amplifying pain and neurally pushing pain to your nervous system. They are doing external hits and stuff like that, but then they're elevating and amplifying all that so that you can throw a wrench in that. You can throw a wrench in that and get a huge difference that you didn't think you'd be able to create.
Later, it was the American Civil War of about 1840s and 1850s, and then just 100 years ago, we then had the Spanish flu, the Great Depression, and then from the Great Depression, World War II. Now, if you're thinking these are just authors that just came up with some crazy theory, in fact, they're the same authors that came up with the concept of millennials. In fact, in their book Millennials Rising, this became a Bible for the marketers of today, where they were showing how every generation has also got an archetype, and every archetype has got a different role at every point in the turning. In their book, The Fourth Turning, this is exactly what they say about each of the 5 different stages, starting with stage 1, the spark. A spark will ignite a new move. The CDC announces the spread of a new communicable virus. Congress enacts mandatory quarantine measures. Mayors resist. Urban gangs battle suburban militias. Cause mount for the president to declare martial law. So this is actually from the book, where they're going through the different scenarios of what's likely to happen, which actually triggers the crisis.
See, I think the guys that wrote the book, right, like I said earlier, I think they were all aware that this time was coming and that this all was planned. And I think it changes the way that it changes the way that I look at the targeting. Like, they're taking these, since World War II, experimenting on people with directed energy, remote neural manipulation, and pulling in more and more people, because they knew that when it came to a crucial point, right? When it came to a crucial point where people were going to learn about this technology and learn about what they'd done, well, there's going to be pure chaos. There's going to be pure chaos with the pandemic and the riots and everything else bad that's going on in society. So all this stuff's going to be going on with the UN. People are going to become aware of this stuff, but they're going to be like, yeah, the government's bad. The government's very corrupt. The military-industrial complex is really corrupt. Yeah, we're dealing with some Satanists at the top. They knew that it was going to change, but it wouldn't completely destroy society, destroy civilization to reveal this, because they'd already be destroying it. You see, They'd already be destroying civilization when they reveal what they've done to us. So we're an angle in there. I'm not saying like this all has to do with targeting of individuals with neurotechnology and directed energy. I'm just saying they thought about this little angle of experimentation to millions of people on the earth and what was going to happen when this stuff starts coming out. So we can look at the chaos in the world and we can be like, oh yeah, if this gets revealed about what happened to us, it's going to be a huge thing. We'll be treated differently. Our lives will change for the better with this, right? With this. Now, dealing with the world, like I said, is a whole other issue, but our lives will change. And it's like people won't destroy society because people have been tortured, because they'll already be destroying it from the huge fourth turning, the winter.
It's just the beginning. It's
the winter of our lifetime.
Right now comes the second stage, which is disruption. This is what they say about what's about to come. The new mood and its jarring new problems provide a natural endpoint for the unraveling ever decline in civic confidence. As a crisis catalyzes, these fears will rush to the surface, jagged and exposed. Distrustful of some things, the individual will feel that
Wait. Let me go back. Hold on.
Requires them to distrust more things. Catalyzes, these fears will rush to the surface, jagged and exposed. Distrustful of some things, the individual will feel that their survival requires them to distrust more things. This behavior could cascade into a sudden downward spiral and implosion of societal trust. So everything we're going through right now is not.
See, okay, so that's where I think that our issue comes in. Because I think in disruption, what the top of the pyramid is counting on is more and more people becoming distrustful of organizations, becoming more distrustful of them before the collapse to happen. And I think that we're involved in that, and the revealing of this, people will be like, wow, we had the military-industrial complex murdering people in our communities, and we participated in that, and we didn't even know what that was all about. It will lead people to more and more mistrust the system, but it'll be good because the intense torture will stop. And I think we fit in there. I think we fit into the disruption phase.
Right now is not about the riots in the streets. Everything we're going through is about a breakdown of the trust of the old system in order for a new system to be created, which has happened every single time that there's been a fourth turning. So what about?
He's excited about it.
Which we expect to see maybe 6 months or even 12 months away from now. The third stage is collapse. At some point, America's short-term crisis psychology will catch up with the long-term post-unraveling fundamentals. This might result in a great devaluation, a severe drop in the market price of most financial and real assets. As assets devalue, trust will further disintegrate, which will cause assets to devalue further, and so on. Many Americans won't know where their savings are, who their employer is, what their pension is, or how their government works. Before long, Americans
will watch that, Meerkat.
People will feel like a magnet has passed over society's disk drive, blanking out the social contract, wiping out old deals, clearing books of vast unpayable promises to which people have once felt entitled. Now, for those of you who've been following along on my channel,
boy, that's smart. David's really smart. David says religion often kills faith. That's how I think too. I often think that dogmatic religion pushes people away from getting into God's hands, from just allowing themselves to be spiritual and lead them a certain way to where they're connected to God. I think it's very, very, very intelligent.
Some economic crisis videos about what's to come, given that we're just stepping into this right now. This was predicted 30 years ago by the two of them in the book. And more importantly, what's key is what you do now to prepare, because while a lot of people will be losing their wealth, there'll be others that'll be gaining brand new systems, structures, and even businesses off this crisis as well. And by the way, if you have not been following my videos, do subscribe now, because we are going to be giving updates all the way through.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you all that, basically the fourth turning, where every 100 years you have spring, summer, autumn, winter. We're in the winter phase. I believe that it's planned. And then he says, like how you prepare for it is you adapt to the market. We may, as targeted individuals, be able to help people to understand this technology or fit into a consumer market or a medical market for doing positive things with this technology. It's not ideal because I don't think human beings are ready for this. We've seen what they've done with it. I don't think that human beings are ready for neural monitoring. They're just not. Like, we're not grown up enough spiritually to handle any of this stuff, but here we are, right? Here we are with this stuff. So in best case scenario, and it's you know, it's impossible as people, we're in a group, we're talking on YouTube to be like, hey, let's fix this let's fix the global issue, all the crisis going on. We're gonna have to, you know, we're gonna have to roll with the punches like everybody else. But our issue, this technology, best case scenario is like making sure that the top secret intense torture is crushed and it comes out, and so it can't be done anymore. And then then the public's going to have to make sure that these technologies are actually used in a more moral, human fashion, which I don't know if that's possible. You know, I think they're gonna scale up this technology so they can use remote neural monitoring on everyone, at least with everybody knowing someone can't just be tortured to death and everybody think that they're mentally ill, right? So things will definitely change. How they're going to change, I don't know. How they're going to change, I'm just like, I don't know where it's going to go, but it's definitely going to change. We've got to be ready for that. And then I've just, you know, we've just got to follow God. We've got to be like, where do you want me to fit into this, God? How do you want me to help people? How do you want me to help my family? You know. Serendipity Blooming says, Kyle, I like Golden Monk Kratom. You can be an affiliate. I trust their stuff. Okay, Golden Monk Kratom. I need to find a cheaper, like a cheaper place to get it. Let's watch I Love Turtles. I really like that video. Do we know where that kid is now? The kid who was like, I love turtles. I love turtles. And then I think I'm going to read a little bit more. I have so much stuff. I have so much information that I need to read you guys, some articles and things, but I think I'm going to have to make some shorter videos on them. I love turtles. Turtles. Zombie Kid likes turtles. Hold on, guys. He explained it one time. He was like, he had just gone to the like the little turtle pen, and he'd seen a bunch of turtles, and since he's a kid, right, that was just what was on his mind. And he had this reporter lady talking to him, and that's just what he was thinking of. He was just thinking about the turtles.
Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend the zombie Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles.
All right, you're great, zombie. Good times here at the Waterfront Village. Open for the next 11 days.
It seemed like the way he said it, it seemed like it was on purpose.
Jonathan, you're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles.
All right, you're great, zombie. Good times here at the
That's hilarious. Okay, let's read a little bit more of this. Hold on. I love turtles. I used to have some turtles, like some pets when I was little, and I liked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But I often had a problem remembering to feed them. Also had a lot of hamsters. A lot of hamsters and gerbils. I ended up getting more hamsters because the gerbils were kind of dangerous. The gerbils would bite you more. So most wanted criminals, scientists and military stealing life sciences worldwide. Cyber criminals in high places steal bio and brain data from innocent civilians using the latest advances in cyber technology. The data is stolen during torture of the innocent individuals. This is happening worldwide in free and open societies. We need to end this electronic slavery with regulation of the radio frequency spectrum and a ban of cyber torture weapons. Good people are working on exposing these crimes, such as the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, Niels Melzer, and his team. Stay tuned for new reports and developments. Misused weapon technology, psychology, and harassment melt into no-touch torture, cyber torture, investigation by United Nations expert on torture. So y'all want to read some of these testimonies by targeted individuals? Let's read a couple of these. Soren TI says, and this is from June 15th, 2020, gang stalking is a persecutory action organized against a targeted individual or targeted individual who perpetrates himself through a set of hostile acts not significantly attributable as crimes or explicit violence, but which overall are heavily harmful to mental health and physics of the victim. The vexatious action produces stress that prolonged induces maladaptation disorder, which can provoke sociality, aggression, misanthropy, panic crisis, anxiety attacks, insomnia, obsessive compulsive behaviors, and in most cases, serious induction of suicide or murder. The stress produced by the vexatious action also induces the syndrome of post-traumatic stress disorder in its various forms, depressive and anxious DPTS. See Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. The objectives that it sets are the conditioning of individuals, their control, programming, or elimination by inducing paranoia or suicide. Gang stalking has many similarities to mobbing, with the difference that the latter is practiced in the workplace, while the latter embraces, the latter is practicing while the former embraces every moment of the persecuted's life. Monica, June 15, 2020, says, "Dear sir, I have been experiencing a severe radionic electronic attack from a radionic practitioner in Scotland, UK, for about 6 years. The perpetrator's name is Yanni McKenzie. I discovered that she's also doing criminal magic and is in a group in Edinburgh with other alternative practitioners. I have a text message from one of them which was sent by mistake. It is from Brother John to Yoni McKenzie. In crime groups, they refer to each other as brother. So I have strong evidence that McKenzie and her group are carrying out a severe radionic attack on me. They cause pains all over my body, pins in the eyes, hands, and feet. I also have snake on the back. This is voodoo-like tech, which they are doing on their radionic instruments. The attack is relentless, 24/7. McKenzie was a teacher at the Radionic Association UK. I made a complaint to them. They said they had an investigation and there is nothing. They lied. They are protecting her because she was a teacher at the association. I went to the British Embassy here in Madrid with a friend. I explained everything to them and asked for an investigation into McKenzie and the Radionic Association. The UK government have done nothing. All they said is that radionics is not a regulated therapy and people go at their own risk. So McKenzie carries on with this terrible attack with impunity. I also contacted the Scottish government, and again, they didn't bother either. They said they haven't got the power to do anything. This is nonsense. They are protecting her. McKenzie is using radionics as a psychotronic weapon to attack me. In the US, radionics is banned as therapy because it is so dangerous. Could you please help me? Thank you, Monica. Here's Soren TI again, says, "Hi, I am a TI, a clinical psychologist by profession. I can help you by explaining how V2K works. V2K is an AI, machine learning type software. So I would say that V2K, it can be manual, like they can do voices where the human operators are actually speaking into a microphone. It's being translated into microwave hearing, and then it's affecting your brain going to the inner ear, or it can be a chatterbox, right? And I've actually experienced my attackers doing manual stuff at the beginning, but then putting it into the chatterbox software, and then this chatterbox software responding to my EEGs, my feelings, visuals in my head, and things like that. So it can communicate with you in real time, read your memory, thoughts, and can manipulate you psychologically and emotionally to achieve its criminal goal of brainwashing. Gang stalking is a program of slow kill. It never ends. V2K technology is based on a psychiatric medical technology called neurofeedback, EEG biofeedback, but it acts It acts another map of the brain. And AI software accesses brainwaves emitted by the brain with ELF waves. The brain reacts negatively to this type of brainwave. V2K is an interactive psychotronic software with artificial intelligence, and it tries to manipulate you psychologically and emotionally. V2K attacks our brain with ELF electromagnetic waves with values between 6.67 and 6.26 hertz. Causes confusion and anxiety, depression, tension, nausea, prolonged reaction times, desynchronizations of the electroencephalogram, accompanied by other neurovegetative disorders. V2K technology can clone or mime different medical pathologies, including psychiatric ones. That's why many TIs are diagnosed with schizophrenia or other mental illness. To annihilate or stop V2K, you can stop with any neurogadget that uses neurofeedback therapy. Thus, the two technologies, V2K and neurofeedback, will interact and V2K will be annihilated. So let's see what this is. Emotive. I know that the bone conduction, okay, so this is kind of like the bone conduction. Emotive Insight 5-channel mobile brainware designed for self-quantification, brain-computer interface, and field research. Emotive Insight 5-channel mobile EEG boasts advanced electronics that are fully optimized to produce clean, robust signals anytime, anywhere, leveraging years of science-backed research and experience to create the next generation of brainware. The Insight features an elegant, lightweight, and user-friendly design. So you can do your own neurofeedback by these consumer products that are actually being born out of our torture. So it's Emotive Insight for $299. 5-channel mobile EEG boasts advanced electronics that are fully optimized to produce clean, robust signals anytime, anywhere. I'm going to have to look into this. I've heard of Emotive, but I haven't looked into it. And you see, these things are going to become less expensive as these things come out onto the market. Some of the things that our attackers do in a negative way and actually hurt our brain, we'll be able to get products that are coming out from this cheaper and cheaper and interfere, because we'll just do our own neurofeedback. We can maybe even put in positive V2K to like overlap, to like really to drown out the V2K, you know. Wow, Dennis Cole says anyone looking to EEG headsets, they get up to $25,000. Wow. Joseph says, Kyle, are you kind of excited to control robots with your mind, man? Yeah, I think that's just going to come, right? That's just going to come in the future, but I'm really not. I think that if I wasn't targeted, I would be really excited about all of this stuff. I'd be like, oh man, you can talk brain to brain with people. Oh, but since I know what they've done to get here, I'm really not excited about any of it. I know how many people have died and been tortured, and I'm like, that's not the right way to do things. So it's hard for me to get excited about the technology. We might as well, though. We might as well get excited about the positive things about it to kind of counteract the negative stuff. So Daniel says, I'm wanting someone to explain how I can help stop some of cyber torture. I know who the people are using the technology against me on a mass scale. Herbert Lentz and Tanya Hardin. Is it the ice skater? Okay, guys, just check out this website, cybertorture.com. I'm going to kind of wrap it up there, but I'll be doing some shorter videos, and I know Friday I'll be coming on at least for a little while, maybe in the evening. It kind of depends on when I wake up, and we'll hang out for a little while, try and just look at any information, any of the protests and activism going on. you know, look at anybody's channels like that. Maybe run a couple of them. What people are getting out there. Maybe if a lot of people are doing live streams from activism, I might not do a live. I might wait till like the next day to show information. I don't know. But let's all do the Twitter thing. Let's all do the Twitter campaign. Go to the UN Twitter page today all the way up till Monday. Then Monday is going to be the big day. Try and spread it around to every targeted individual that on Monday, every targeted individual flood the UN Twitter page. And then Tuesday will be Donald Trump. Then Wednesday will be Elon Musk. Then we can do that over, or we can just go to the most trending on Twitter. So if people could participate in that, I figure it'd be a good idea just to do it every day up until Monday on the UN page, and then target individuals can just you know, tweet whenever they want this week. Dennis says the cheaper ones are played off as student sets for colleges if you read the descriptions. I'm going to find some of that. Send me some of those by email, Dennis, or anybody else at vulcanwolverine@gmail.com, and I can do a video just on all the consumer products, right? I've gone over some of those, like the headset, the mind control headset for Facebook. And then there's another one, like a group of scientists at MIT just discovered a mind reading headset that you can like control the computer with a headset. I'll go through some of those. All right, guys, I love y'all. And probably Friday I'll do something. I'll see if there's a bunch of live streams of protests, though. I might not. I might want, you know, just go and support those. And then I'll do like a live stream this weekend or something. All right, guys, y'all stay strong. We're getting close to some big stuff. So try and buy time, use defenses and things like that. We're coming to some good big stuff. Let's not just like wait till the UN thing. Just like this Awareness Day on Friday, let's try and do some campaigns and things and really insert ourselves into where people are communicating a lot to try and build up until then. All right, guys, I love y'all, and I'll definitely see you on the next one. Everybody just take care, and God bless you and your families.